Hello and welcome to round 2 of the World Supertech Series. We are live from Curitiba in Brazil, and we are looking forward to a very exciting round of the World Supertech Series. Considering we have now, for the first time, 3 commentators, I'm once again joined by Liam Jenkins. Hello, Liam.
Hey, it's really good, privilege to be here once again. Promises to be an exceptional round, and, this marks the return also of Jesper Thulberg, so it'll be interesting to see what sort of impact he can have on the championship.
It's certainly interesting to see whether Talbot can do well. At the moment, he is doing very well indeed in the warm-up session, or the practice session, I should say. He is up near the front, so I'll just scroll through the timings for you now. We've got Tommy Ajala currently topping the timings. Not quite sure how Tommy Ajala managed to do that, but he is up there. We've also got Calamise and Shepherd doing quite well. Looks like we've got the top speed here actually. But I'm also joined by Ben Davis. Ben, being my brother, is joining us for the first time in the Touring Pro Series. Hello, Ben.
Hello everyone, I'm very excited to be here. Looks like a very interesting track with many different lines and long sweeping corners, and it looks very close to the top. And with a short lap, certainly should be in for an interesting qualifying session.
It certainly should be an interesting qualifying session. I'm currently a little bit stuck with the broadcast controls. For the first time in Touring Pro Series history, we have an overlay in a GameStop car broadcast, and as per usual, I've already messed it up. But I'm sure I'll figure out how to change the top speeds on and off in a minute. So, Liam, who's your pick for round 2? Considering we have 2 races, 30-minute races. There's 2 chances for race winners, and we saw an interesting first round, didn't we?
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, straight away without looking at times or anything like that, odds on would be on, maybe like Ivar Calamise or someone like that after doing a very impressive job in around a couple of weeks here. But the thing you've got to look at now is you've got, one of the giants in there of Jesper Thulberg. You've got Ryan Callan, who has said, in pre-season tests, and he's been looking very strong. He's comfortable with the car. So you've got plenty of guys up there. Eric de Veit, it's his first race today. He's a well-known, competitive racer. So we'll have to see what he can do. But I think overall it's going to be very close at the top. And at the moment, I think it's quite hard to predict.
It certainly is. We've got Jesper, who is currently running in 8th position, who, of course, is the most decorated Touring Pro Series driver, and has joined for the first time in the World Supertech Series. He, of course, was running in first season, but I mean the first time in the season 2, and of course the first time for him in GameStop Car. He actually won the GameStop Car giveaway competition, which was a hot lap competition using a couple of the cars from the WTM mod. So that's the reason he's with us today, because he won a competition. So congratulations to Talbot, and we of course will be following his progress closely. We've got 1 or 2 other drivers who are joining us for the first time. I will switch to those and we'll go through those in just a moment. Let's have a quick look at the timing. So overall, the timings, we've got Tommy Nilsson running first with a 17.7. That's one of the best times we've actually seen on live races. Of course, you can follow live races by going to TouringProSeries.com and clicking the live timing button, and you will be able to follow pretty much live what the lap times are and what people are doing. That proved more useful probably in the first round than it is now. As you can see, we do have a fully functioning timing screen. Ivar Calamise is just 5 thousandths of a second down on this current lap. So we'll just have a quick look through some of the new drivers. Of course, we've got Nato Nascimento, who is driving for THR Purple. He's been signed to drive alongside Alexander Sene. Of course, Jesper Thulberg, as we all know, has joined us. Chris Shepherd has a new livery, as designed by Robert Wiesemuller. We should say thank you to Wiesemuller. He has done plenty of new liveries. Tommy Ayala is joining us once again. Adrian McNaughton has a new livery for Storm Racing. That was designed actually by yours truly. Tamas Potts, he's got a new livery, and that is Independent Racing. Just to confuse us, we have independent Peugeots, independent Chevrolets, and independent racing now. And Tamas is driving the independent racing entry. Matt Sentel, a late entry to WSS, he's just signed up and he's using one of the default liveries. In fact, I think he's the only remaining default livery, which is good to see. Ray Lilly, we've seen him before. Robert Wiesemuller, as I was saying, the supporter and excellent designer of all of these new skins, pretty much. Scott Webber, James Johnson, Abash is McNaughton's teammate in Storm Racing, so he has a new livery as well. Ernie Draska, another new livery, the Lithuanian, who has a Lithuanian themed livery, which is quite nice. Van der Ven also has a new livery, very similar to the Storm car, so we'll try and avoid getting those confused. Glenn Cummins has a new livery as well, fairly simple black and white livery, but easy to spot nonetheless. J Wang, I should mention, and he actually has a, well, he did it from our screen at the moment, but he does actually have, in fact I think he's disconnected from the server entirely. He's got a skin that's dedicated to the memory of Jeff Krosnov, which is quite interesting. Navarro, I'll just cycle through these quickly. Vinicius Ferreira, looks like he's disconnected from the server as well, so hopefully everyone is alright, and the server is holding up, just checking I'm not in replay mode. Andy Johns, same again. Mike Bell also. Vilmos Vass, now here's the other independent entry, as you can see, and I believe he was the designer of both liveries, so he joins us as well. We're supposed to be getting 47 drivers at Beto Rodriguez, another new entry. Renegados Motorsport, it's a mouthful, isn't it? And Jonathan Ocklin, we've seen him before, he's using that interesting manga livery. Are you a fan of that, Liam?
I think it's unique, to be honest, compared to what we used to see, and he's definitely, you know, got an artistic side, so no, I think it's definitely one to stand out from the field and definitely catch sort of the fans' attention, which I guess is what it's designed to do.
It's an amalgam of lots of different styles, and it's up to you whether you decide whether it works or not. I'm sure some of you will agree that it's very nice, and some of you will think that perhaps it's a little bit OTT. Actually, it works quite well in these cars, so it's certainly a better effort to me than his V8 car. But anyway, certainly someone to talk about. Luke McVicker has decided to show up after he mysteriously had a wheel snap, was his excuse for absence from round 1. So he joins us. He's currently in 40th position without a time being set, and we're back to the leader. So Ben, now I've got you, might as well use you as our expert analyst, which is actually in the same room as me. I can wave and see him, so which is quite nice. Tell us more about strategy, about the tyres. Obviously there's no pit stops in WSS, so it'll be about who can make their tyres work again.
Yes, in that regard I think it's fairly similar to the Clio Euro Series that was. It's now going to be the virtual Clio Series. Series 3 of that series and TouringProSeries, and yeah, the tyres they pretty much last the whole race. Some people might be heavier on the tyres and therefore they might drop off near the end, but pretty much you can push them flat out unless you have a dodgy driving style, which means you wear them out quickly. An example perhaps would be Ryan Callan in Clios. But yeah, some people who are safe on their tyres might be able to get a bit of an advantage at the end, but it's pretty much hell for leather at the get-go. Fuel doesn't really make a huge amount of difference in these cars, so yeah, expect the race pace to be a couple of tenths off perhaps of the qualifying times.
Yeah, indeed, the heavier weight does seem to slow them down a little bit initially. Qualifying times will be looking, well, what they're doing now, I should think they're doing qualifying simulations. High 17s. Ryan was the fastest driver on 5 races for many, for a long period of time, as Nixon goes 200ths quicker, and that was an 18.0, so times are reasonably close, as you can see, even down to McNaughton in 12th, just a second covering the top 12, so that is reasonably close, especially considering the pace of the GT Amiga cars. They looked very strong indeed, didn't they, Liam?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you take a look back, you know, just to the last round and how dominant like Calamies was and managed to escape the field, I think they're definitely looking to repeat that today. But it looked like at the moment Calamies has got some competition. Obviously, you know, you see Tommy Nilsson, the man currently with the fastest time, a 1:17.712. But there's nothing between them, to be honest. Just a couple of you know, hundredths of a second. So it'd be interesting to see what Calamies can do now. Then he's going into turn 1. Of course, 1, 2, and 3, very unique complex. Let's see if he can get this right. Then dips over the curb, nice bit of elevation change there, and lucky not to take too much curb to get a bit of oversteer. Launches the car flat out here. Then, of course, this could be one of the places that the drivers may choose to use a push to pass. So Toby, you know, push to pass was quite a big factor during the first round. Do you think it will have the same sort of effect here?
Yeah, well, obviously, I think actually a bigger effect because you've got that very long front stretch. Obviously, the people won't be able to use their push to pass until they've crossed the start finish line for the beginning of the second racing lap. So it'll stop people using it at the start line, giving different speeds. Hopefully people will be using it and will be making it sort of interesting race. We thought it wasn't really practical in the first round. You could only use it in one place, and I think much the same here. But certainly it'll be interesting to see if people save it for close towards the end. That will, of course, make a difference as Calamise comes through the final corner. A very banked and long right-hander is going to wear the tyres a little bit, but it should be okay on tyre wear. It's not the most stringent of the track. So qualifying will begin in just about 8 minutes' time. We're looking at an interesting session with hopefully we've got 45 cars on track, haven't we, Ben?
Yeah, it's a 10-minute long session, unlimited laps, but as you said, it's going to be very busy on track with 40 to 45 people on track at once, and it's a reasonably short lap as well, so it's certainly going to be busy, and it's going to be all about who can get a time in, get a clear lap, and Matt can try and get the best out of the car in qualifying, which could be quite difficult.
And Calamise looks very strong on this lap. He's gone purple. Do you think, who's your tip for the pole, Liam? Do you think Calamise?
Well, it's looking kind of that way at the moment. Obviously, you've got Tommy Nilsson just in front of him, so. But never write off Damien Henderson or Ryan Callan or someone like that, because it's just so close at the front at the moment. It's so hard to predict, and any one of these drivers could just find an extra bit of time through the middle sector or something. And just whether it's a thousandth of a second can really sort of change your qualifying time.
And as Calamise is showing, he's gone a tenth down. Henderson's gone 3 tenths down on this, but still a very strong lap, 18.0. I think with a 10-minute session as it is, we might see a couple of times under the 1 minute 18 second barrier, but I don't know. It's because there's such short period of time for people to be able to set their laps. It's going to be tricky to put that one good lap in, and we'll see whether that works. Of course, there's 2 races today, 2 30-minute races. They actually are set by laps, 22 laps. But obviously they're designed to be 30 minutes, and there's a qualifying session prior to each race, so there will be no carryover. So if you retire from race 1, you should get a second chance for race 2, and that helps 1-2 drivers, particularly after the interesting start line that we had in race 2, didn't we, Liam? It was mayhem.
Absolutely. I mean, just see. Unfortunately, there wasn't a broadcast for it, but it literally went, mental cars off in every direction. So hopefully we don't get a repeat of that today. But is that start position's very key here with a field this big. As you said, up to 45 drivers registered for the session. It's so crucial to get as far forward as you can, because the last thing you're going to be doing is stuck in the middle of a wreck like what happened on race 2 before. Yeah, there was a good 8 cars involved, and 1 or 2 people have, as a result, been penalised. And we will just have a quick look at the championship standings, which involves me minimising and getting left hoping that my internet window loads, which it has done, which is nice. So go through the standings, Liam. It was quite an interesting field so far. Yeah, absolutely. You've got Ivar Calamise leading the way on 60 points. Chris Butcher just behind on 49. But Butcher's not feeling his best today, so just looking to try and bring the car home, I think. But with Jack Keithley away, I think this has really opened the door up, primarily for the guys like Tommy Nilsson and Ryan Callan, because they're sitting prime with Butcher not at his best and Keithley away. It's going to give them an opportunity to try and close on Calamise.
Basically, the team's championship, of course, reflects obviously reflects the results from the races. Calamise and Nilsson, therefore, topping the team's championship, with THR Red in close pursuit. But there's close pursuit. It's 40 points. So basically, it's GT Amiga domination as well. So of course, Henderson running GT Amiga logos himself. So. Yeah, it looks pretty dominant by GT Amiga as we are about to head into qualifying, and we will look at qualifying as it comes. Ben, just give us a quick rundown of what happened in the first 2 races in terms of results.
Well, it was a bit of a Calamise showdown, wasn't it? Really, in race 1, he finished ahead of Chris Butcher by 9 seconds, which is quite a big margin. I think the battle for second was certainly very tight and very tough. Chris Butcher, as I said, Ryan Callan running out the top 3. Tommy Nilsson, who was very quick. He set the second quickest lap time in the race, but had a battle obviously with Ryan, and Jack Keithley also finished just behind him, who was also quick. But yeah, it was kind of mixed up. The field was mixed up. There was lots of fast guys further down the field. Alexander Sene was very quick and finished ninth. Robert Wiesemuller 6th. Kenneth Yeoman was 7th. Adrian McNaughton was 8th. And Damien Henderson running out the top 10. But he was also very quick, but dropped 6 places. So yeah, as I said, right past people lower down. Race 2 was slightly different. Calamise was again 3 seconds ahead of Jack Keithley this time, but a very dominant showing by Calamise, fastest lap of the race. So he was strong showing the last race. You wouldn't bet against him in this round. Tommy Nielsen on the podium yet again. Chris Butcher 4th. Damien Henderson made up a bit more time in race 2 and got 5th. Ryan Callan 6th. Brandon Warren was 7th. He made 10 places, which was the biggest gain of anyone in that race. Robert Wiesemuller again in the top 10. Dino Paolini was 9th, up 7 places, so a good run for him. And he certainly wasn't set a quick lap. So as I said, there was good racing throughout, which is probably credit to Push to Pass.
Yeah.
James Johnson was 10th.
Yeah, James Johnson rounding out the top 10 for THR Reds. That was both THR Reds drivers in the top 10, and that put Chris Butcher second in the championship, so he'll be looking to follow on from that. Let's see if we've got anyone on a quick lap as we head into qualifying. Tommy Nielsen is coming onto the pit straight, and it looks like a right gaggle of cars actually here, so let's just head on board with Nielsen. He's got out behind all of the THR purple cars, and we'll just follow him on board for a lap. And maybe Liam, you can explain why Tommy Nielsen is one of the quickest drivers in the field.
Oh, you just see him straight away, not even into a corner. Look how close he's running to that wall, trying to get as much, tarmac as he can before flinging the car right into turn 1, over the curb, quick left through the chicane, and then right. Now he's coming into a little bit of traffic here, but hopefully they should move out of the way. Obviously traffic, a 10-minute session with 40 odd cars, certainly a bit of an issue to say the least. But down the straight he comes in, he's going to have a nice slipstream from the car in front, which could be one of the opportunities where traffic isn't such a problem. I believe that's Jonathan Ockerlin just in front. And that's not going to help him, but the good reflexes there by Tommy not to dive out of the way. So through the first sector he comes then in towards the end of it. I think he will be the first man to set a time. He swings the car left, round the sweep-in left-hander, and he's just, you can see straight away from the driving style, there's no dancing at the back end, there's no opposite lock, there's no locking of brakes, nothing like that at all. He's just completely one man in his machine here. There's no fight at all from the car. He's just doing it exactly what needs to be done. The car's having no fight at all, and he's got that setup perfectly tuned as he comes in towards the final corner then, the long sweeping right-hander as you said, and then just trying to get a little bit of a slipstream. I wonder if this will help him a bit. It's the time to come flooding in. Jesper Thorberg, the man currently on provisional pole position. Let's see what Tommy Nielsen can do. He comes across the start-finish line now. Oh, he's quicker by a long margin as well, 117.874, so he beat him by Calamise.
Calamise immediately in behind him and sets provisional pole, and the 17.8 is a pretty good banker lap, you'd have to say. It's only a tenth off what they were doing earlier, so both of those drivers in with a shout. Even Simon's goes 9th, and he's actually quicker on his previous personal best in the first sector as well. Nato Nascimento up to 6th, but he's beaten by Damien Henderson, James Johnson in 12th. Let's head back, see if we can find anyone. Ryan Callan in 4th as well. So he is putting a good lap together. Chris Butcher down in 14th. Look at that. I wonder if he made a mistake. He's back in the pit lane and back out on another lap, and he's had enough of travelling at the pit lane speed limit and wants to get on with this. And that is allowed. There is no speed limit set in the WSS rules in qualifying. It's only in the race that it matters.
Yeah, well, obviously he did much view of the two THR cars in front of him. As you can see, Sene just trying to navigate his way through traffic. This is looking good for Butcher right now. There's no real terms of traffic in front, but with the lap time so small and 40 cars in this small session as well, everyone's diving, just trying to get as many laps in as possible to get that one banker lap, which will secure them a good position. But to do that with, all cars trying to do the same thing, some of them overdriving it and maybe spinning a bit, it's not going to help them at all.
As Callan comes through the final corner, he was green, which means he was up on his cell. But he messed up the exit of the final corner big time. Henderson was another one who was green, and he is also on a quick lap, so let's see if he can improve. He obviously has done an 18.4 so far, so he's looking to improve on that. He has done a good lap since then. He actually obviously backed off in the final sector. He was up after 2 sectors and obviously made a mistake or backed off to get a gap and a run into the next lap, so Henderson begins another lap Nascimento is on a lap as well. He's not on a lap actually, he's on an out lap, so we'll follow him. Tveit is 3/10 up on himself, 1/10 down on the leaders. Oh, he's big time messed that up into the right hander at turn 4, so he will. Well, he actually made a late apex, so he might not have lost too much time, but Tveit was well up on himself and has now thrown away some of that time. He's run wide again, as he is followed by Jesper Talborg coming through. Talborg third, sitting third at the moment, so looking good for him. Tveit still up on himself by a 10th, 4/10 down on the leaders, so he may improve, but only by a position or two.
And Adrian McNaughton as well, he's currently 10th, he moved up earlier on, as you can see, a bit of a drift there from Eric Tveit. But McNaughton's currently 10th, he's also gone quicker on himself through the first 2 sectors, so watch out for him as he comes across the line. You can see the little green box, as you see Tveit goes down tonight. There's, I think that was Matt Sentel that's gone up to P6 now, so he's got a show in there. Tommy Nilsson also went faster there by 200ths of a second, and he still remains behind Ivar Kalami's though. Look at the gap, just barely anything between them, 700ths of a second. That's barely anything.
It is. Tommy Nilsson is green, so I wonder if has he just crossed the line? No, he is on a lap, so he is up on his personal best. It's not a purple sector, but that does mean he is going quicker than he has ever done before. Same for Talborg, who is also he's only just over 100 quicker. Nilsson currently coming towards sector 2. He is now purple, so he's gone half a tenth quicker than Calamise, and he's coming through towards the end of the lap as well. So let's see what Tommy Nilsson can do. Can he take provisional pole? Comes towards the final corner, throws it in, nice early entry, gets to the apex, waits for the car to settle before he gets back on the throttle, floors it out of the corner, uses all of the exit curb. This looks good for Tommy Nilsson. Can he take provisional pole? The answer is yes, he can. He goes on pole by 800ths of a second, so plenty of advantage over his teammate Ivar Calamise, and Henderson in third for a GT Omega sort of satellite team there. And who was that running off in the background? It looked like a black car, maybe Kenneth Yerman in the background. Indeed it was. Jesper Talborg coming across the line now as well. Let's see if he can prove. He has gone green, and he stays 5th, actually doesn't improve. He was only 400ths off his previous best, and Nilsson has gone purple again. So this is pretty dominant behaviour from Tommy Nilsson, Liam.
Yeah, definitely trying to take the fight to Ivar Calamise then. He listed that time by around a 10th of a second, but absolutely relentless at the moment, showing no signs of giving up. As you can see, a little bit of traffic in front of him, but I don't think this will hinder him too badly. As you take a look through the rest of the field, Chris Butcher was provisioned down to 22nd. I think he just shifted up then as we move forward. Let's see what Tommy Nilsson can do. Oh, he's come in.
Oh, well, it looked like a very good lap. Maybe he ran out of fuel. Butcher up to 8th then, so Butcher's done an exceptional job to get himself from 22nd to 8th, so that's good. Calamise has gone 200ths purple. I have to say, through the first sector you can make a bit of time up through the first sector using all of the entry on the entrance to turn 4 there, all the way on the white line and some more. So he's pushing the limits of the track, he uses all of the curb as well. So Calamise is on it. Let's see whether he can go purple through sector 2. It's just on the exit of this left hand hairpin and a little way down this short chute towards the fast left and right flat out chicane, and the line is just in front of us now. Let's see whether he's up still. Just 7 thousandths per second. This is tight as anything, and he comes through the fast right hander into the final corner. The pit lane entry is on our right. We're going to avoid that, and we're going to throw the car in. He does miss the apex a little bit more than his teammate did, and in fact he's run out wide as well, so this might not be good enough from Calamise. See whether he could retain some of that momentum. It will certainly improve, I think. No, he lost enough time actually. He lost 3.5 tenths in that final sector. So not good enough from Calamise. Henderson has gone purple by nearly a tenth. Look at that.
Absolutely incredible way to end as well. 50 seconds left in the session, and time's improving all over the spot. Ryan Callan's gone up on his previous best by 100th of a second in the first sector, but Damien Henderson, could he be the underdog here? We've been focusing on the 2 GT Mega drivers. Can Henderson perhaps split them or even take pole position?
I'd just like to say at this point about how close it is. The top 18 or 17 drivers are within a second. I just think that's incredible. That all the skill levels and different setups and everything, and all the traffic on the track at the moment with 46 or 40 cars racing. I think that's incredible how close it is.
It's close enough for Damien Henderson, who is less than a tenth off the 2 front runners. He is green. He went purple he is still green through sector 2, so he will improve. Will he improve enough to get ahead of Calamese as he comes across the line? Not good enough again from Damien Henderson. So they're struggling in that final second. NATO Nascimento has gone purple. Liam, you spotted that one.
Yeah, the underdog in a THR driver, NATO Nascimento sits 10th position. We've been focusing so much on the guys at the front of the field improving our sector times. This man has seemingly come from nowhere. The session hit 0. Could this be one of the biggest shots? Oh no, it's ruined!
Oh!
A car's just gone spearing off, and I'm sure NATO will have some very harsh words to say about that. But that's just traumatic. Now, we thought we were on for a, one of the best ends to a qualifying session in World Supertech Series history, but it just wasn't to be for NATO. But that's definitely an indication of what he can do.
Yeah, it was Beto Rodriguez who we saw spinning across the track, I think. And Johnson and Wiesenmuller do not improve. Oh, James Johnson does improve. He moves up a couple of positions up to 11th. So that will be good enough for Johnson. Is there anyone else actually out there on a lap?
Henderson.
I don't think there will be. Henderson's on a lap. He's still green.
I think he's gone green in sector 2. Oh,
oh
abandoned
no,
that, or?
he's gone. I think he's gone back to. Yeah, he's abandoned it. Must have made a mistake. So Calamese, he's on an out lap. Tommy Nilsson, slow lap. Henderson's in the pits. Yerman in the pits. Talborg, will he be able to complete this lap? He's going to cross sector 1 now. 4/10 off. He's not going to improve either. So that Henderson is a bit of a misnomer. Let's have a quick look through the field. I don't think we're going to see anyone else. So it might be worth. I think that's it. I think we now have a pole sitter for race 1, and it is Tommy Nilsson from his teammate Ivar Calamese, and they were both pretty impressive, weren't they, Liam?
Absolutely. There's nothing to split them out front as well. Just less than a 1/10 of a second. Literally just splitting the two guys. I mean, you can see Damien Henderson was so close as well to getting his nose in there, but it's not just the top 3. Yeah, guys like NATO Nascimento setting fastest sector times through sector 1. Ryan Callan, Jesper Thulberg, all going quicker. Sene as well up there for the other THR. I mean, this is an extremely close, as Ben pointed out. The top 18 separated by nearly a second.
Which is phenomenal, quite frankly, in a championship like this. That there are so many drivers actually within that time period. Of course, we are supposed to be having 46 drivers were originally entered to this event. I'm not sure exactly how many we've got, but it's certainly not quite that many. But it's close enough, as David van der Ven has got a mismatch, so he probably will be kicked out of the race, as it's saying on the chat. He needs to sync up and hope that he can join from the back of the field, I believe. So anyway, with 5 minutes of warm-up remaining, let's have a quick look, see if I can work out the controls to run down the field. I probably won't be able to now. But anyway, we've got Tommy Nilsson on pole, as you say. So Ben, run us through the positions.
Well, we've got Tommy Nilsson on pole from his teammate Ivar Calamese, both very dominant in practice and testing before the event, and they've managed to get laps together and shown it here today. Damien Henderson in 3rd, Kenneth Yerman in 4th, Jesper Thulberg making his debut in game stock car in 5th, Ryan Callan 6th, Alexander Sene 7th, Chris Butcher, who isn't very well today, and that's a great effort to get into the top 8, and he'll be quite happy with that, I'm sure. In 8th, Matt Sentel in 9th, NATO Nascimento, who was very unlucky indeed on his last lap, where he got very good first sector time. But yeah, I mean that is just racing. You can't put at fault the other driver. He was obviously on the lap as well and just lost the car. He'll be disappointed, but that is racing. James Johnson was 11th, Ivo Simons 12th, Eric Tveit 13th with his very dramatic driving style. Robert Wiesenmuller was 14th. We might be slightly disappointed with that. He did look a bit quicker than that in practice. Tommy Ayala 15th, Adrian Norton 16th, David Jones 17th. JJ Wang 18th, Dino Paloni 19th, Thomas Fott 20th, Abbas was 21st, Chris Shepard 22nd. Hang on, I'm just getting a bit lost.
Sorry, we've got Linz, I'll tell you, it's Linz Enderman, then we've got Cabis, Antonio, Lilly, Herrero, Draska and Navarro, that's top 30. Then you've got Weber and Newcomb. This is my favourite bit, all of these names. We've got Bell, Swart, Ockerklin, Johns, Vass, McVicker, and then Beto Rodriguez. So we've only got 41 drivers actually, so I say only, that's plenty for a league. And it's impressive how many drivers actually we've got out there today, Liam.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, a couple of guys missed it, which, we would have liked to. I think Brandon Warren's one of them. We got, obviously, the two inside sim racing guys, Darren Ganji and Sean Cole. I don't think have taken. They may appear during warm-up, we don't know. But unfortunately, nonetheless, that just shows, even with a few driver absences, we've still got a 40-car strong field. And with the times and the field being as close as this, you could just have, the top 10 and have probably one of the closest races in history.
Yeah, without a doubt, the numbers are very good, particularly compared to the first series of the Supertech Series. Not very popular with the drivers, that mod, but since the switch to game stock car, seems proving to be very popular. I think the whole idea of push to pass is very intriguing indeed. The idea to have eight push to pass opportunities during the race that last for 8 seconds. And that's an extra 80 horsepower, which is a fair amount considering these cars only have about 500 horsepower. I say only. They have 500 horsepower, but an extra 80 is certainly worth having. Isn't that right, Liam?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these really are sort of game changers almost as you look into it. I mean, as Toby said, there aren't really that many places to use them. Obviously, you've got the start-finish straight and possibly coming off of turn 3, but nonetheless, it's still going to give, the guys in the midfield a chance to try and push their way forward. And it's all down to the strategy as well. Do you use them early on so you get in front of the guys, or do you save them to the end for a late burst? It's all down to what you can do. Of course, they do get activated after the second lap of racing, so no sort of first lap burst through the field or anything like that. But nonetheless, it's going to be a very vital part in this race, I think.
Yeah, as you said, there's certainly only really one main place, which is obviously the main straight, to use this push to pass. But I think perhaps we could see some overtaking through the first chicane and around that first right-hander, that long tight right-hander. If someone gets a good exit out there, they might feel they want to use one of their push to passes into sector 2 and down that fairly long straight into the turn, 5 I think? Yeah, into turn 5 and try and overtake someone there. But yes, as I said, the tyres not really a factor, although with these cambered corners and long sweeping right-handers that we've got here, that might just push particularly the front left tyre. And also you've got to be careful out of the traction zones as well, out of the slow corners, to not spin up your wheels too much and wear those tyres down for the end of the race. So that could be a factor indeed. But yes, it's going to be very close at the front. I think we're going to see a battle between Nilsson and Calamies for sure, but it'd be interesting to see if anyone could get up there.
Absolutely. So as we head into the end of warm-up then, I mean, you think as well, that first opening complex of corners is such a unique complex as well. You've got turn 1, 2 and 3, turns 1 and 2 effectively a chicane, and turn 3 coming out of the chicane need to get that car, pointing in the right direction. Otherwise, just the slightest bit wide or you miss the apex and you can find yourself on the grass. So to see cars going 2, 3, maybe even 4 wide in the heat of the moment in the opening laps would be, very, very interesting indeed. As you can see, Jesper Thulberg currently sits 5th place as he returns to the pit lane. But again, warm-up sending pretty clear indications. Nilsson and Kalami still top of the field.
Yep, so as we head into the race itself, and I'll just make sure we've got a good guy to follow. There we go, Tommy Nilsson. And we'll just get ready for the start of the race. Just 12 seconds until the beginning of the warm-up, formation lap, sorry. As I say, it is a rolling start at 40 miles an hour, and we are waiting for that rolling lap to commence. Hopefully everyone pulls away and doesn't pretend that it's a standing start, which we have seen before, haven't we?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the thing is, again, this is a very unique sort of start because it's all literally down to the driver's reaction time. So you need to be aware of what the car in front of you is doing. And I think the man who, has the most control here is Tommy Nilsson. I don't think he want to kind of signal to either when he's trying to get on the throttle because, I think there'll definitely be an attempted manoeuvre into turn 1 regardless of being teammates. Kalami's want to try and defend his championship. But it's a very unique sort of starting procedure, and I think that overall it really does produce some very exciting racing in the opening laps.
Certainly does. We've also got a track map which was made by Ryan Callan for us for this round, and as you can see on your screen, the long start-finish straight is basically bookended with a sweeping final corner and of course that tight chicane. And then of course you've got the tight right-hander at turn 4, which is where we are now, and the fast flick at turn 5 before the hairpin at turn 6. And you can see the cars piling through. We're still watching Tommy Nilsson as he comes round towards the left-hander, which is here, and then a short shoot towards the fast left-right chicane before the final corner, which is where they will begin to slow down in that short shoot between the penultimate and the final corner. They will get in 2x2 formation, as I say, travel at 40 miles an hour, and then they will come towards the start-finish line where they will be waiting for the green signal, which will signal the start of the race. So we are looking forward to that. Of course, there is no push to pass until the end of 40 miles an hour. It is actually, rather than 45, has been put in the chat.
Here we go then, the field coming round the final corner, all bunching up. Too wide as they go into that start-finish straight. It'll be Tommy Nilsson that leads his teammate Kalamis. The GT Omega lead the front end. You go onto the home straight. And half an hour of racing.
Yeah, half an hour of racing ready to commence, and we're just waiting for the race control to say green, and then we will be racing, and the cars are lined up. There's a bit of an incident in the background as the green flag is signalled, and one or two cars there have been turned around. What happened, do you think, Liam?
I think it could be just been a bit eager on the throttle. Someone maybe misread the signal as the car's forward. Down into turn one, it's looking though still like Nilsson may have actually held on to that one. You can see, I think that's Ryan Callan trying to get his nose in the mix. He is, he's up to third. Kalamis leads after taking his teammate into turn one. Callan up to third, Yeoman fourth, Butcher fifth. So great start by Chris Butcher as well, of course, Ryan's teammate. Jesper Tolberg down in seventh at the moment, Sene up to eighth, but the majority of the field, despite that opening confusion, seems to be through okay.
They do indeed. Callan making an excellent start, which he has been known to do recently. Chris Butcher for THR Red, he is up to 5th position, as he was saying. Damien Henderson relegated down to 6th. He must have had an awful start. I have no idea who was involved in the back of the pack battle. I'm sure Ben will find out and tell us in a moment's time as we head through the tight left-hander at turn 6 for the very first time. And we are waiting to see whether there will be any more moves before the end of the opening lap. Chris Butcher in a world of his own behind them, and here comes Telborg. He is looking at Damien Henderson. There's no way through there, and Sene just in behind him. Behind them you've got Tvai Dejala, Simon Johnson, Visa. You can see them all coming through as quick as that through the chicane. JJ Wang's up to 14th as well, and Nascimento down to 15th from 10th position on the grid. He obviously has an appalling getaway as the field will be using push to pass for the very first time, and you can see straight away up at the front there's some action going on. Chris Butcher looking to defend. Henderson looks like he's defending as well, and it'll be interesting to see if anyone loses it into the first chicane.
Callan's off, and you can see, I think that maybe Tommy Nilsson may have lost there's definitely contact between those two. Callan's rejoined. It'll be interesting to see if there's any damage. He's now taking a look on board with Callan, I think, to try and look around Chris Butcher. Side by side they go then. And I think he's got to maybe have to sweep it around the right hander. He's got the inside line. No, Butcher's fighting back. Butcher reluctant to let that one slide. You can see Henderson in the background as well, followed by Tolberg. Those two making a little bit of contact. I think Callan's finally got the job done, but he had to fight very hard for that one.
He certainly did. As Tolberg's looking at the back of Henderson, he wants to get through as well. Callan obviously just used push to pass and then forgot to brake for the first, and of course this will be the first time that the majority of the drivers will have used push to pass unless they did an offline race and practiced it then, because you cannot use push to pass until the race itself. So these guys must have knew to push to pass for this particular race, so they'll be looking to learn the braking points as soon as they can. And what will be interesting is to see who has saved their push to pass for the second lap as we ride on board with Alexander Sene as he comes into the pit straight, and you can see in front of us Jesper Tolberg uses his push to pass, and he's cruising up on the back of Damien Henderson.
Got to be careful though. You can see in front you saw Chris Butcher. If he mistimes this as Butcher pulls out as well, this may implement his time. He has to brake a bit early, but no, he's got it done. Henderson sensibly lifts off a bit earlier, and now Tolberg all over the back of those two guys in the front. You can see Butcher and Callan, but Tolberg reluctant as well to try and stay there. He needs to try and move forward. He's definitely a man to shake up this championship. So he tries to look at the inside of Butcher here. Butcher's not going to let that one go. Shuts the door immediately. And Henderson lucky to be aware, otherwise he could have gone flying into the back of Tolberg's car. But you can see just in the background as well there, Sene almost getting in the mix. So while all this is going on, the field starts to form behind them. And you've got Tvai, Tommy Ojala all coming into play now.
Certainly have. There's a big battle actually, really, from 4th Ryan Callan all the way down to Visa down in 13th, so that's plenty of cars in a line. These front three have really gapped the field and run away with this. If we look from Callan's car and look forwards, as Ockerklint obviously was involved in that start line shunt, and there were probably a few other drivers as well. And of course, Callan is now in 4th position behind the front three. Yeoman behind Nilsson and Calamies. It looks like a GT Amiga are running away with this one at the moment, but there's plenty of battling going on as Nilsson sets the fastest lap of a 1:18.29, which is very fast indeed. Here comes Jesper Talbot on the inside of Ryan Callan. Looks like he wants to make a move, and Henderson looks like he's pushed to pass as well. He's going up the inside. Contact between him and Sene, but and who's that in the background? Is that Evo Simons?
Possibly could be. Yeah, it's Evo Simons. I think you can see him slipping down the order there. But again, I mean, this push to pass, you're using it on the stretch, but it really can hurt you badly if you miss on the braking points. You can see Sene now on the defensive. You can see Tveit trying to go around the outside, I think. Sene's got up to 8th because of all this, but now coming under a lot of pressure from Eric Tveit. I mean, these guys just all coming in line of stern now around this. So it's just great to see. As you can see, Sene goes from the defensive / offensive as Henderson goes a little bit wide and then tries to get the cut back now, but they can't go 3 wide there. No, that was very lucky. I thought, you know, 3 wide there, that could only end badly, but it's definitely looking like Calamies and Nilsson are kind of running away with this one now. They've got 2 seconds over Kenneth Yeoman in P3, Callan 4th, and of course is leading this exciting battle, to say the least, between Jesper Tolberg and co.
Okay, so basically we have, as we've been reported by Ben down in the pit lane, it's Navarro who's out, Abbas, McNaughton and Alcaklint involved, and obviously someone in that pack jumped the lights. I'm not going to speculate who, but some battling going on here as Sene is in the back of, in the slipstream, sorry, of Chris Butcher. He's not quite in the back of him, he's close to it though, and there's some locking up going on in front. Sene's locked his brakes, has run too wide, and he's going to be done here by Tveit, surely, and it is. So Sene drops back to 9th position behind Eric Tveit, although he's got a bit of a run on Tveit, and he's going up the inside as they head towards the right-hander at turn 4. Tveit covering the line as much as he dares, and Sene's going to back out of this one if he's got half a brain, and he does so. So Tveit does make that one stick and moves up into 8th position, which is a very good result if it stays that way for Tveit, and obviously his first round, and he will be looking forward to making up some more positions. He's got Chris Butcher in front of him, as he was saying, was feeling under the weather earlier, but I think that's really just him setting himself up with excuses, as teammates for Tveit and Sene, which is Nascimento and Ozala, are battling hard. I'm not quite sure how to say his name, it changes from round to round. And those two, and look how wide NATO was there, and as a result here comes Biesemüller up the inside. He didn't quite make that one stick though.
Yeah, the thing is now, as you can see, the fastest lap goes to Calamies at the moment. Nascimento started 10th, was down to 15th, now back up to P12, well, it was P12, now to P10, I beg your pardon. So it's all changing round, and it's just purely taking advantage. It's turn 1 to the 3 opening complex is catching a lot of drivers out in terms of braking points. There's contact there, and luckily kept out of harm's way. I think that may have been Robert Biesemüller.
Biesemüller all over the back of Alexander Sene, looking for a way through. And sorry, this is Talbot from Callan, of course, isn't it? So Talbot right in behind Ryan Callan. So Callan, in fact, has dropped back a long way, and Kenneth Yeoman's down to 6th. How do we miss that one in the midst of all of that?
It was Yeoman. Yeoman was the one who spun, I think. Yeoman had a bit of an incident in the F1 Classic team car, and I think he luckily kept out of harm's way. But that's why now he's trying to fend off Chris Butcher. And just look at that line of cars. They're starting to separate into their own group battles. We saw much of this last time out as well. But with the nature of this track, they have to wait, you know, virtually 3 or 4 corners for a good overtaking opportunity. 3 or 4 corners around this circuit is near enough, you know, the opening couple of sections. So, unfortunately for them, they've only got to try and nail it in a certain point, unless they want to risk it all. And you can see a car coming out of the pit lane there, but it's right now all very close, because you have to try and hang that car in there for the best place to overtake, which is ideally turn 1.
As we saw, Nilsson has closed up on Calamies, so those two are still doing a good job of battling at the front, as Callan brakes and retains his 3rd position ahead of Jesper Talbot, who is looking very racy indeed on his first race in the WSS Season 2. So first race in Games Top Car as well for him, so obviously straight out of the box he is quick. And we'll see, I think it's Vilmos Vass who's come out of the pit lane, who may well have been involved in that start line shunt.
Yeah, I think the thing is for Tolberg as well, he's come into this, you know, brand new round 2, but while he may not win the championship, he's definitely going to shake it up among the midfield, while the guys who are trying to compete with Callum, the guys like Nilsson, Callan and co, as Callan makes contact, I think, and Solberg once again goes through. Thank you very much, he says, up to P3. Now he has to try and chase down the GT Omegas. But this is what we said, it's his opening race for the series, he's up to 3rd. He's really going to shake up this midfield now, and in terms of the battle for the championship, he will stop people getting valuable points.
We certainly will, as we've got Ben Davis with some more information on that start lane shunt down in the pit lane.
Yeah, I just had a quick word with Jonathan Uppercake, and I think there was a bit of a mix-up with the start and people slowing down in front, and I don't think the guys at the back, they had to go flat out to try and catch up with the pack, so I think sheer numbers in this field and the corner, the last corner, to just sort of they didn't bunch up enough to begin with, and it wasn't a tidy start. It had people braking, people accelerating, and that caused a collision with 3 others. So Uppercake was involved in it.
Alright, thank you, Ben. We saw Anderson going through past Callan, and Callan has just got sideways on the exit of turn 3 as well. So he's lost out to Kenneth Yeoman, and look at this in the background, Sene alongside Eric Tveit. So Sene wanting to take that position back from Tveit, and this last time we saw him doing this, he didn't make the move up the inside. Tveit's run a little bit wide, missed the exit. Is he going to be able to get alongside? Yes, Sene is alongside. He's got the inside line for the flat out right-hander. Oh, they go through there flat out. And they both make it through unscathed somehow. And here comes Wiesemuller up the inside of Sene. He goes up the inside into the hairpin. Has he got the overlap? I don't think he has. Sene just runs it around the outside.
Got to be careful though.
Position.
Now look at Nato Nascimento just behind him, trying to take advantage of the situation here of what's developing in front of him. You can see his teammate just lingering in the distance, trying to make a move on Tveit. So right now he's got his front view full of Wiesemuller's car. We want to try and chase that as soon as possible, because if Wiesemuller tries an attempt, Nato will be the first man to capitalise on it. As you can see, a bit of a breakdown by Robert to avoid contact. Is this going to unleash Nato now? As you can see them all, I think they may have all got such a good draft there coming down the straight. You can see side-by-side action there again between Butcher and Callan. Those two now fighting for 6th and 7th as Butcher try and goes round the outside. Oh, look at that! Oh! It's gone round. That's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Callan.
Oh, Callan!
No! He's been very clever in trying to where he's going to replace his car. Now that is very clever indeed. He's actually lost a position.
Chris nearly hit him. I wonder if he's got a cut for that. I doubt he's got away unscathed. There's V4 behind him. Wiesemuller. Oh, look at this diving. That's Mento up the inside. He's going through past Tveit, and he just gives Wiesemuller a bit of a tap as well.
Look how close that is.
Uses him as a block. Great move from Nascimento. Really lays on the brake and moves up through, and he's now in behind Robert Wiesemuller. And Wiesemuller in 8th position and doing a great job, you'd have to say, at the moment. He's in the top 8, and he's surrounded by THR Purple as well. And of course you've got Eric Tveit in the background for BMW Motorsport. And Ivo Simons has recovered to 12th position as well after his early off, and he's battling hard with David Yunt, who is in my favourite livery actually of the lot, in that green and orange Mazda 787B inspired livery, and those two battling away as well, with James Johnson just in behind. And a great debut for Matt Sentel, he's up to 15th place. And Ryan Callan's gone in the pit lane, so yes he did, he got a cut warning, so it's a stop-go penalty for Ryan Callan. Wow! And that's our 3rd position man in the championship. Well, he won't be retaining that, will he? And where does that drop him in the field? Down to 17th
he's going down. I mean, the thing is now, though, where's he going to come out? You've got the likes of Scott Webber, who are going to pass him. I mean, the thing is, there's more action here, as Callan leaves his pit box for what should be a 10-second stop and go. But now it's still raging on. You can see the 2 cars out of Nascimento and his teammate just behind as they try and attack Wiesemuller and Tveit. Now, the thing is, with this battle, these 4, you may as well just put them into a hat and draw random names out and you'll get the order. Which this is always the contact between teammates there. But this is what's happened. They just keep shuffling and shuffling and shuffling. When one makes a mistake, the other capitalises. And you just can't predict the results at the moment. As now you can see the other guys that are trying to get involved in this. So that involves Ivo Simmons and David Yunt, as you said. But this is going to get so close at the moment. Tveit has a bit of a moment there. And now is Wiesemuller going to try and get a bit of a move on. He's trying to look to the outside. Tveit showing absolutely no remorse in trying to defend his line. This is going to, of course, unleash Nascimento. So these guys now find the P9, and Wiesemuller goes up the inside. It looks like Tveit went a bit wide there. Is Nascimento going to do the same? No, he's not. He might do, though, because Wiesemuller made a bit of contact. He'll use the draft Wiesemuller has, and that is textbook stuff there from Nascimento.
Used Wiesemuller as a pick to have a go at the inside of Tveit. And look at this from Sene. Sene's used his push to pass. He's going to get 3 cars in one go here. Surely. Look at this from Alexander Sene. Goes flying through on the inside, and that's a pass for you at its very best. Saves it, he's put it far too deep.
It's happened again, that first corner push to pass. I don't think a lot of guys kind of anticipated what sort of effect this will have, as Sene now side by side with Evo Simons. He's got it done. Oh, Simons, I beg your pardon, but I mean, the thing is, this really does have a big effect. While it helps you overtake, you've got to get that braking point right.
Indeed you have. We've got Ben Davis in the pit lane.
Yeah, Ryan Cullen, that unfortunate penalty from him cutting and avoiding contact and a spin by going off the track. He's dropped down to 25th place. Ernie Druska unfortunately had a spin in front of him, so that promoted him up one, but he's now about half a second behind Ray Lilly, who is a THR driver, and so there could be some conflict.
So they had some history in the clears indeed. So we're still watching the fight, Sene and Wiesenmuller battle, and Spike's a little bit naughty there, using quite a lot more of the track than he was supposed to through there. And further up front, we've got Damon Henderson, who's moved up into third position, taken up from Jesper Talborg, I believe. Those two were battling hard, and Yerman back up into the fifth position. We've been following this battle of Sene and friends, I should say, for quite a few laps now, and actually we've been neglecting the front of the field. Calamy still leads from Nielsen, those two less than a second apart, and you'd have to say the dominant force there, 8 seconds ahead of third position Henderson.
Once again, Calamy's just done what he knows how to do. We saw him in race 1 last time, this dive going. The thing is as well, it's exactly like race 1 though, because he's got away, and while all these battles behind him are unfolding, cars flying off trying to do these daring manoeuvres, they lose so much time to the leaders. And you know, with 13 laps or so gone, 8 seconds away from the nearest competitor is a very comfortable place to be right now for the two GT Omega drivers.
Yeah, indeed it is. They are absolutely storming the field, and as we look at Talborg is in behind Henderson, and they're lapping. I think that Bill must pass. It could be his teammate actually, and Talborg right in behind Damien Henderson, but they just don't. They can't hold a candle to the GT Amiga boys, and they couldn't really either in the first race. Of course, Tommy Nielsen getting caught up with Jack Keithley in a little bit of a battle, but we will endeavour to see whether they can keep that pace throughout the entire season or not. And Kenneth Yerman's got in behind these two, hasn't he? Caught them up, and Chris Butcher looks good in a solid 6th position. And further back, if you look, here comes Wiesenmuller on Nascimento, and Wiesenmuller going to the outside. Give your money on.
I know, Wiesenmuller will have to try and wrap it around. He will have the inside line there for turn 2, but Nascimento, oh, very good job there. If he doesn't go deep, he'll manage to hold that. Oh, he does so. Wiesenmuller going to have a little bit of a drive now, though. Snaps the back end away from him and then just tries to get in the slipstream. But look at the collection of cars now, just all forming up. I mean, you said it was Sene and friends. It's now Sene and, well, nearly half the grid almost.
It is a lot of drivers who are battling away, and look at this, Wiesenmuller back up the inside of Nascimento. So Nascimento really he wants to finish in the top 7. It is his debut in the WSS, and in fact in the Touring Pro Series altogether. Although we did see him in one of the pre-season events, and he was lightning fast. So it'd be interesting to see how him and his Brazilian teammate Sene do. Both driving for THR Purple, and they are, in fact we can see there's THR Red, THR Green, THR Purple, THR Purple. That's the battle that we're watching, with the Black Rebels driver Evo Simons in front of the BMW Motorsport driver of Eric Tveit. So there's plenty of differing teams out there and different drivers from different continents. In fact, every continent in the world apart from Antarctica represented, which is quite an interesting fact. And Butcher has gone defensive, and I think he will be passed by Wiesenmuller and Nascimento. This could be interesting.
Absolutely, into turn 1 there. I think Wiesenmuller may get him better. Butcher can't try that, no. Oh, I thought better of that one. We couldn't see a replay of what happened a few moments ago with Callan. Oh, Wiesenmuller's one deep. He did well to save that. Lightning reflexes there, but now Butcher's become under a lot of pressure. He's in a THR Purple sandwich at the moment. Dives to the inside. I think that wasn't intended, as he tries to pick up a bit of a slipstream there off, I think that could be Nascimento, as now they all just fly through. Wiesenmuller has managed to get past both the THR Purples. As you can see, Butcher is trying to weave his way back through, but the thing is, with all these inter-teams, surely there has to be some sort of compromise here, because they might just all end up in the wall at some point.
I think they are all on. I hope they are all on TeamSpeak talking to each other. I am in my other role. I am of course team boss of THR.
Oh, he's gone off. Butcher's off. Butcher's in the wall. He's made contact with one of the THRs. That's not good. I think that could have been Nascimento. Oh, Nascimento has come off worse. That I think Butcher's going, but Nascimento is falling through the field. Let's take a replay then. So Butcher, has he just tried up the inside and made contact? No, he's going get down. I think it was a bit further on
Yeah,
in the
a little
lap.
bit further on. Here
Here
we
we go then. It was a friendly tap tried up the inside. Maybe no room given, but he's had a bit of a wiggle.
Ooh.
Nascimento cut across. And was there a bit of a tap from the car behind of Simmons?
Oh, I think Nascimento lost it all by himself and came right across the front of Butcher. And Butcher's got significant damage there actually. So, oh, huge damage for Butcher. He's lost his entire front bumper. Oh, he's not going to be happy in that car, especially since it's a new driver. Oh, look at this. He's got no front downforce at all. Butcher down to 13th place. That
was more
the
contact up
championship.
front. There was a car up front, I think. Yeah, it was. That was Simons, I think. Yeah, Evo Simons,
Evo Simons
slipping
as well.
down the field. So this field of drivers that have been battling the entire race is starting to slip away now. Maybe the fatigue levels starting to show a bit. The tyres screaming out for a bit of help, perhaps.
Perhaps. I have to say that was caused by Nascimento, but that puts our second and third position in the championship. Butcher and Callan down, way down the field, down in 12th for Butcher, and Callan is down in 21st. And Nascimento actually is retired with an engine failure. So we have Nascimento who's retired. Simons is retired as well. I'm not so good on my German, so I don't know what Upphängen sounds like in English, but I'm sure we'll find out. I think it's probably suspension, and he's way down the field as well. Going to drop down behind everyone who's a lap down. Scott Webber is retired as well with an accident. So lots of retirement suddenly all in the space of one lap. Look at that. Almost 10 people have retired.
Absolutely. Just look through the field. It's unfortunate, but definitely maybe some close racing, especially up front. Now we can see Henderson and Yerman going at it. As you can see, he tries to get the inside line off turn 3. What has Henderson got in that number 91 car? He's trying to overtake Yerman at the moment, or perhaps defend his position. Tolberg's going to be laughing now, because he can just slowly slip away, just as Kalamis has done at the front of the field. And it looks like Henderson may have just got this done. Yes, he does. Can Yerman come back there? I mean, this is going to be extremely... it's going to play into the hands very nicely in the likes of Tolberg and out up front. But we said, you know, Tolberg's going to affect this championship greatly. He's going to do it even more if the main championship contenders are way down the field.
In fact, Towell could be in with a top 3 actually come the end of the season if people like Callan and Butcher end up having races like they did. Of course, Butcher's not his fault, but Ryan lost it all by himself and had to cut the track. And ended up having to do a stop-go penalty as a result, which is a shame. Look at them sideways through that right-hander, and Wiesenmuller desperately trying to hold on to the car, and he's going defensive into the final corner from Sene, who is part of the satellite THR crew. He's driving for Interlagos Motorsport as well as that is his team. So let's ride on board with Sene as he's in behind Wiesenmuller, using the push to pass. Wiesenmuller goes defensive. It's absolutely pointless, and Sene is going to go through and take that position away.
Yeah, absolutely. It's looking like he's got that job done at the moment. Wiesenmuller after trying to rely on a mistake, which has just happened, snaps back through. A bit of a wiggle from that THR green, but he's got through and still not giving up though. Is Alexandra Sene. We've seen him in various leagues, TouringProSeries and other, and he's a very feisty driver. He's not going to want to surrender that at all. As you can see him just try and now force him round the outside. He's broke very late. He may touch the grass here. Oh, that's very well saved. But he's going to lose a lot of time to Wiesenmuller, and unfortunately, he's provisionally got that sign seal delivered.
Yep, so Wiesenmuller moves up into 6th place, and he'll be very pleased with that indeed. Henderson in 5th, and he's behind Yerman and Tauborg. So Tauborg, you'd have to say, looks strong for a 3rd place finish. We've only got 4 laps remaining in this 22-lap race. So, of course, we do have a second race this evening, and that will be a similar 22-lap race with another qualifying session that's coming up shortly, but we'll focus on this one for now. Just 4 laps remaining, and Henderson, Tauborg and Yerman in the battle for 3rd position, and then Wiesenmuller, Sene and Junt in the battle. Well, you'd have to say just Wiesenmuller and Sene at the moment in the battle for 6th and 7th. Junt and Johnson are a little bit further behind, as here comes Yerman looking for a way through. In fact, I think he went defensive and Henderson slipped through. So Henderson up the inside. Oh, he's run a little bit wide, and here comes Yerman trying to go around the outside.
Very well saved, but he's drifting to the outside. He's just about saved it. But a very, very scary moment there for Henderson indeed. And you've got to think this is going to play into the hand of Kenneth Yerman. He's trying to look for a way through. Henderson on the defensive though. You can see him just trying to hold that inside line. He's got it done. But once again, you can see in the background that green THR car slowly slipping away now.
It certainly is. Further back, we've got Tveit, Johnson, Junt in a huge battle here with Sentel and Butcher not too far behind either, and Tveit looking for a way through. He is of course driving the BMW livery car, and oh, he's gone around the outside of Junt here. Is he going to make this one stick? There's Johnson in the way. Oh, contact between Johnson and Yunt. And that, I think, is Johnson wide. Oh, and Newcomb wide as well. Newcomb is a lap down, of course. Yunt's teammate. And Tveit looking for a way through on the inside. Oh, that's going to be tight. That's a fast left-hander. Almost flat out in qualifying trim. A little bit slower through in the race, especially with these worn tyres, which are having a little bit of an effect on lap times. And certainly drivers not showing quite the pace that they did earlier on.
Absolutely, you can see this battle unfolding, and we've seen plenty of midfield action today. This is only going to get greater. The race is going to escalate in size as we go towards into the final couple of laps, because it's all going to be on the line. You know, the difference between 7th and 8th in terms of the championship could be quite costly. At the end, you can see Henderson trying to still catch Yerman, but from one green THR to another, because now Robert Wiesenmüller is barely any time at all. He's bringing the cavalry with him. Alexandra Sene in just closing distance.
I have to say, I think Talborg, or Henderson and Yerman made a mistake, rather, and they've dropped off the back of Talborg and into the clutches of Wiesenmüller and Sene, because I was saying, with the battle for 3rd, that actually is now a battle for 4th, because Talborg is 7 seconds down the road, so something must have happened, and these 4 now in very close proximity, and this is the battle for 4th to 7th positions, and we'll see whether this will be resolved before lap 22 or not.
Yeah, well, just a couple of more laps to decide it then, but I think this one really is going to come down to who wants it most in towards the final lap or so, because right now Henderson's still searching for a way through. Kenneth Yerman, thought better of that one, but he may just release Robert Wiesenmüller. We saw Wiesenmüller take advantage of opportunities just like that one before, and that kind of skill, if you like, is going to come even more crucial, as now look at this, they go right to the inside of the track as Yerman tries to defend the inside line. They're ducking and diving, swapping sides, but I think Henderson's just got that done. That was maybe a push to pass, I think, but provisionally if he gets the breaking point right, yes he does, and he's got that done.
It certainly has. It'd be interesting to know how many push to passes these guys have. Actually, there is no way of telling, unfortunately, but they probably have a limited amount. I wonder if anyone saved any for the final lap. That's certainly a tactic that I would use. Picnic, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm having a picnic it sounds like. But obviously these guys have been saving them up for the final few laps, because Henderson's definitely used one there to get through to 4th. And Yerman is still retaining that position ahead of Wiesenmüller and Sene. They were quicker, Yerman and Henderson, so you'd expect them not to be troubled too much by Wiesenmüller and Sene. But Sene, of course, has been a front runner before in a Game Stock Car League, and does know how to win, so he could have just been protecting his tyres. It's difficult to know. Talborg was saying to me before the race that actually protecting the tyres is one of the important things. As Nielsen goes through past Calamies for the lead. We haven't been following this one, but Nielsen just goes through past Calamies and uses that push to pass, and I wonder if he has saved one over his teammate. He runs too wide, and this could be game changing. Of course, Calamies leading all the way through the race, but Nielsen just using it just at that moment to take away the position from his teammate, and I wonder if he will now close this out and take the win.
Well, I don't think that may have been in Kalami's good books. I think those two, I mean, you know, Kalami's led the whole race, Nielsen been in, you know, sort of close proximity. But now Nielsen, maybe, I don't think that was meant to be, you know, scripted there, as you saw him just dive out. I don't think Kalami's was expecting it at all. He's going to have to fight for it left. Has he got a push to pass left? If he does, he'll have to use it on the home straight, and this is going to come down to this final corner of the final lap.
It certainly is. If Calamies sends one up the inside, Nielsen will have to get out of the way, because there's no point Nielsen defending into the final corner, really. There's contact between these two, and it'll leave Talbot with a win. As they come through the right hander for the final time, there's just one corner remaining. Calamies or Nielsen, who's it going to be? It's going to be GT Amiga, but which one? And Calamies is in behind Nielsen. Has he got a push to pass left, or has Nielsen used his tactical genius to win? From Calamies, here comes Calamies, side by side across the line. It's going to be Calamies! It's Calamies from Nielsen! Look at that, 0.1 seconds! And Calamies wins for the third time in a row. Just 0.1 from Nielsen. Can you believe it, Liam?
Nielsen will be absolutely distraught with that one. He came so close, shocked us all with that one. Calamies got it back. I mean, what must the emotions be like for the GT Mega team as a whole right now?
Unbelievable stuff. Talbot takes a podium for THR Green on his debut in the WSS Season 2. Henderson takes 4th from Robert Wiesenmüller, so he did. Wiesenmüller did get through past Yeoman in the end. Sene in 7th, Yunt in 8th, Johnson in 9th. Tveit comes flying through and wrecks his car, and he is in 10th position. Sentel on his debut up to 11th. Chris Butcher after that spin as a result of contact with Nascimento down to 12th. He won't be happy with that at all, who entered this round in second position. Paolini takes 13th, Molon Lintz in 14th. There is Lintz doing donuts. Tommy Ajala has already quit to the pit lane. Callan up to 16th. He dropped down to, I think it was 25th in the after that stop-go penalty. So he'll be happy with that. Shepherd in 17th. There's Herrero, Kevin Enderman, Ray Lilly. Crossing the line is number 37 machine of Vinicius Ferreira. And I'll try and get the scrolling to work. I can't remember what key it is. Unbelievable race. Give us your thoughts quickly, Liam.
Utterly incredible from start to finish. We saw chaos at the start, drama all the way through. That midfield battle, you know, when it was between Callan, Butcher and company, was just utterly fantastic to watch. The late manoeuvre there by Nilsson shocked everyone. Callamy's got it back by 1/10 of a second. And that's the closest finish this season, but that is the way forward. I mean, that is just utterly incredible. Almost speechless there. And that is just exactly what a field of 40 drivers can produce in a Touring Pro Series league.
Unbelievable stuff. 0.1 seconds. It was anyone's guess who that was going to be. As I was rounding up the field, Vinicius Ferreira in 21st, Mike Bell 22nd, Ernie Draska in 23rd position, 24th goes to JJ Wang, 25th to Philip Antonio, 26th I think went to Vilmos Fast, and I think Newcomb and McVicker were our final finishers, unbelievably. And 28 finishes from 40 starters. It's still pretty good, actually. Only 12 people DNFing. 3 of those at the start of the race. I think Navarro was one of them. And, of course, we had McNaughton was involved as well. So, unbelievable stuff. And we're going to go to qualifying in just a couple of minutes. And we'll be right back after this quick break for the video that Ryan Cullen made for us. So as we head into the second qualifying session, and I'm not sure whether I can stand another exciting race like that. My heart is not exactly the strongest in the world, and we will see what happens in this one. It was certainly a GT Amiga walkover, but never was I expecting such a tight finish as that. And quite frankly, Pelborg in third place has kind of been forgotten about, but he did a great job to get the third place in the podium. So we head into the second qualifying session. I think Ben's just got a quick rundown of what happened in race 1, so just fly through that for us, Ben.
Yeah, there was a lot of confusion at the start with the everyone slowing down, preparing themselves for the start, and obviously with such a big grid, I think people were slowing down at different points, and the people ahead, they obviously slowed down, and people were trying to catch up behind them, and they caused contact before even the green flag had been shown. So hopefully everyone can try and tighten themselves up and keep a bit more tidy, ready for the start. But yeah, that ruined Jonathan Ockford's race. He picked up damage from that. Can't quite remember who else was involved, but just had a word with Even Navarro as well. He made contact with Mike Bell on around the last corner, which is obviously banked, long right-hander, and spun and hit the wall, I think. But yeah, with these cars, there's obviously a lot of downforce involved. So as soon as you lose your front bumper, I think the handling is just completely ruined. And yes, the contact we saw with NATO, Nascimento, and also Chris Butcher. NATO lost it by himself and spun in front of Butcher, and contact was unavoidable for Butcher. But yeah, Butcher's also struggling from a sticking throttle, which is never happened to him before, is it?
Sticking throttle? No, he's had problems with his throttle not being 100%, but certainly never heard of a sticking throttle from Butcher. But never mind, we'll endeavour to see whether that affects him through this race. Talborg is on a lap, and he was very good in race one, wasn't he? There in that particular position. And he had a strong qualifying session as well, so see whether he has to continue that form.
Absolutely, I mean, this man really is sort of dynamite, I mean, we expected him to do well in his first race, but anyone, expecting him to be right up there in the podium. Obviously, the sort of incidents with Callum and Co. definitely aided his decision, but I think overall, Solberg's done a great job, as you said, it's his first racing game stock car. So to come in and get a, podium position is just utterly fantastic for him.
It certainly is. The Danish driver, one of my teammates in a couple of other series, he will be in the Clio series as well, and he is looking strong at the moment in the WSS. The third best driver, though, you'd have to say, behind Nielsen and Calamise. Let's have a look at someone who we haven't really followed, as Sene set a lap time in the 18s. Talbot, first serious lap time with an 18.1, beaten by Tommy Nielsen with an 18.0. Let's have a look at Bjerman. He was up the field, nearly took third position in the end, but didn't quite manage to, and he's going to cross the line now and see whether he sets representative time. It's 19.2, which is reasonable but not good enough, I wouldn't think. And Butcher is going very quickly indeed on his personal best. I wonder what his personal best actually is. It's 21.3, so that is to be expected. And Nielsen, Tommy Nielsen, up in the pole position time already, is miles up in the first sector, and he's coming through towards the second sector as well. Nascimento is doing well, and Wiesemüller pops up as well, and Calamise is up to third. Let's see what Nascimento is doing. He's coming through towards sector 2 as well. We'll just keep an eye on Tommy Nielsen in the bottom corner of your screen, see what his sector split is in sector 2. Henderson's 3/10 up, and Nielsen is nearly a 10th up on himself as well, so Nielsen, it looks like he's going to improve, doesn't it, as Nascimento comes towards the second line, and he needs to go at least a 10th up on and he's 3/10 up on himself, but a 10th down overall, so Nascimento might improve, but it doesn't look like he's going to improve too much. Here comes Nielsen coming towards the line, and will this improve? I think it must do, really. He's set plenty of lap times in the 17s, and crosses the line, and he's well slow, so I don't know quite what happened there. Obviously lost a lot of time towards the final corner, maybe in the chicane. It didn't do through there as Calamise comes towards sector 2. James Johnson up to 5th, that's a good lap time for him, an 18.4. Calamise is not going to improve, well, he's going to improve on himself, but he's not going to improve the pole time, so time's a little bit slow. I wonder if people are a little bit distracted, a little bit weary after race 1, Liam.
Yeah, it definitely could be. I mean, I think the thing is as well, definitely for Tommy Nielsen, is to try and beat Ivar Calamise. He's currently P6 at the moment. Nielsen on provisional pole, but he's going to be fired up after race 1 as well, after almost tasting victory on the final corner and the final lap and having it snatched from him by his teammate. He's going to want to try and rectify that and take a victory, so definitely keep an eye on that. Also Nascimento, it's a P5 in qualifying, so it's a very close session at the moment in terms of lap times. All guys from P1 to P8 all separated by 6/10 of a second.
Certainly it's very tight at the moment. It could be even tighter. Butcher slots up to 8th position while we were talking, and he's coming through towards another lap as well, so let's see whether Butcher can improve. He's coming towards the line now, and it's going to be an 18.2 for Butcher, moves him up to 5th, and Talbot goes first. Look at that, Talbot on pole with a 17.9. He looks quick. He's got Nielsen coming through behind him as well. So what can... sorry, that was Calamise actually. As Henderson comes into or out of the pit lane. Nielsen isn't on a lap. Calamise is also not on a lap. Butcher's in the pit lane. Nascimento is on an out lap. Is anyone on a lap at all? Senne's on an out lap. Yeoman's on an out lap. Simon's in the pit lane. Here's Wiesemüller. He is on a lap. Thank God for that. and he's coming around the final corner now, and he's in behind what's the standing to the left-hand side of the screen. As he comes towards the final, the start-finish line, sorry, he is in 8th position. He does improve, moves up to 8th. Callan only in 12th. So I wonder what happened to Ryan. And oh, look at that in front of us as two cars go side by side down the pit straight. And Callan in 12th position at the moment. Let's see what he does through sector 1. Look at that, nice and tidy on the curb. Doesn't use all the exits until the last moment. He likes to keep a slightly tighter line. 4 thousandths down, and that's down on the Espen Towerborg. So Callan looking good through the first sector.
Absolutely is what he needs. So, you know, had a bit of a pear-shaped race one after the early incident. I mean, he managed to climb his way through the field, but it wasn't what he hoped for in the end. He wants the top 5 to keep those championship dreams alive at the moment, and there's a bit of rhyme in there for you. So Callan through the second sector, he's looking pretty good at the moment. As you said, he's trying to, just like Tommy Nilsson's going to be fired up after race 1, needs to try and find something extra in the car and get a decent result to rectify race 1. He's only 2 tenths down on Jesper Solberg through the second sector as he comes in towards the final set. Let's see what he can do then in towards the long right-hander. It's definitely looking a lot better than his previous time. Ivar Kalamies has done a session best there through sector 1, so he's definitely the man on the charge at the moment, trying to take his second pole position of the weekend. The Ryan Callan comes across the line, moves into 7th, so big jump there for him, but still not what he wants.
No, he wants to be further up the field. Callum is doing very well. He's coming towards the second sector. Ben Davis down in the pit lane.
Yeah, well, all I was going to say, I've just been watching a few drivers, and the traffic is playing much more of a problem in this session than the last. I've seen Ryan Callan, Chris Butcher, lots of people getting held up by traffic, and certainly pressure building the last 2.5 minutes, because there's certainly tables have turned. Jesper Tolberg on pole, and Callum and Nilsson 2nd and 4th, but that's not certainly the domination they showed in Quali 1.
It certainly is. We've got purple sectors all over the place. Chris Butcher's gone purple, Callan's gone purple, Senni's gone purple, Paulini in 16th place has gone purple. So I think Talbot must have set a pretty poor first sector, as Calamies does improve, but not enough to see him improve up the field at the PB final sector. Butcher's only half a tenth off pole, you know, here. He could move well up into the front, certainly into the front row with this. He's got Senni just in front of him. I wonder if that will affect him. Senni also on a PB. So let's see what these two can do. They are drafting each other down the pit straight. Butcher in behind. And Calamies does go into 4th. He's set a purple sector. Senni improves. Butcher doesn't. Oh, he does improve, but he doesn't improve his position. And Paulini up to 11th with that time. And Nilsson's gone purple as well. And Callan up to 6th. This is all happening here. Nilsson is purple. Let's follow Nilsson round. And he's coming towards the left-hander hairpin. And Nato Nascimento's gone a 10th up in the first sector as well. So it's all happening on the track. Henderson's gone 2.81 tenths up. So we'll follow him as well. Look at that. An incredible performance for Henderson through the first sector. He's mixed the apex a little bit. And Nilsson 3 tenths up and he's gone purple. This could be a 0.6. He's following his teammate. Take us through the final corner, Liam.
And see what he can do then. His teammate just in front as well. All of them on purple. Look at that. 2, 3 and 4 all on purple. Callan as well. What can Tommy Nilsson do? Can Calamies improve? No. Tommy Nilsson goes pole to 1:17.6, 3 tenths quicker. Then Jesper Solberg is out on track. Henderson keeps improving. He's a 10th up through the second sector as he comes into the final corner. Can Henderson be the underdog here? We said, could he do it in Quali 1? He couldn't quite get it done. Is this his time to shine as he comes down the start-finish straight? Is this going to be pole position for Damien Henderson?
He's going to cross the line, but I think he backs off. He doesn't improve even. Nearly 700th in the final sector, down on his previous best, and lost nearly half a second in the final sector. And I think it was all through the final corner as well, so not quite sure what he was doing. Chris Butcher has started another lap, and there's 12 seconds, 10, 9, 8 seconds left of the qualifying session left, so not much time for these guys, and Butcher has not improved, so it looks like he's not going to be able to improve at all, and he backs out and heads back to the pit lane. His work is done. Talborg is 2 tenths up on his previous best, and he's less than half a tenth down on Nilsson, so it looks like he's going to improve. I think Nilsson really has got this one done easily at this point. Calamies is not on a lap, he's in the pit lane, so Calamies won't improve either. So Calamies 3 wins in a row, but down in 4th, and it looks like he's going to stay 4th as well. Callan is in the pit lane, Senni is on a lap, but it's not particularly anything special. Nascimento's 4 tenths down. I don't think he's going to improve. It's only Talborg really, and he's less than a tenth down on Nilsson as he comes through the final sector. He's just behind Dino Paolini. Let's hope Paolini gets out of the way. I think Paolini must be on a lap himself. Oh, this is going to ruin Talbog's lap. He's right in behind Paolini. Is Paolini going to really cost him that much time? I think Talbot is pushing him down the straight. Crosses the line now. He does improve, but not enough for pole. Front row is good enough in the WSS though, of course, because you're side by side, but Talbot definitely looked like he was going to take pole, or certainly looked like he was in close reach of taking pole, but no one else really good enough to challenge Tommy Nilsson. And Talbot and Nilsson, the only two drivers under the 1 minute 18 minutes map barrier. Sene doesn't improve his lap time either. Paolini has done a green sector, but he's got quit back to the garage, so that's why that has happened. So unbelievable session again, and Nilsson does take pole, doesn't he, Liam?
Absolutely. I mean, he said to be fired up after race one, and unfortunate, victory ripped from him in the dying moments from Ivar Kalameet, who starts fourth. But Tolberg, once again, surprising us all. We knew he'd be pretty fast out there, but to start on the front row in only his second team stock car qualifying session's pretty good. Damien Henderson as well was very, in close proximity. Butcher to come fifth and Callan sixth. It's a very close top six. Very much, six of the giants here in Touring Pro Series, but I don't think anyone quite expected him to be in that order.
No, they didn't. I certainly would have put Calamees towards the front of the field, and you've got Tamas Fott as well up in 15th place. Ridiculous time though, really, from Tommy Nilsson to do a 0.6. That's insane. That's nowhere near what I could do. That's about 9 tenths quicker than what I could do, so unbelievable. And Nilsson then taking pole from Talborg. Henderson in third with Calamees alongside him on row 2. Butcher and Callan together once again. That'll be fun watching those two hard at work and probably rubbing some paint off each other. Sene and Nascimento, the THR Purple guys in 7th and 8th. That's row 4. Johnson and Wiesenmuller in 9th and 10th position. Kenneth Yeoman for F1 Classic in front of Dino Paolini for Waterblue Racing. Eric Tveit and Adrian McNaughton are on row 7. Tamas Fott up in 15th, as I said. Ivo Simons behind him with Chris Shepherd, Marlon Lintz, Yunt and Wang. JJ Wang rounding up the top 20, and JJ's done a good lap there to be in 20th position. He's got to be very careful. He lost, he was penalised, that's the word, 16 points in the opening round for a couple of misdemeanours, and he's promised to sort it out, so let's hope he does so. Tommy Ajala, Matt Sentel, a bit disappointed with that after his strong finish in race 1. Ferreira and then Van der Ven. And then you have Ray Lilly, Kevin Enderman, Abbas, Cabis, Draska, Bell, Antonia, Navarro. That's the terms of 32nd position with Bass, Newcomb, Vicker, Rodriguez and Jonathan Alcaclin in 37th position. We've lost a couple of drivers. I wonder if a few people have either rage quit or lost connection. It certainly is a possibility. So we are in warm-up, and there's one or two things that drivers will be doing, isn't there, Ben?
Yeah, definitely. I think most drivers in warm-up go out with race fuel just after qualifying. They want to put full race fuel in the car, see how it's handling, maybe make a couple of setup tweaks before the race. A couple might do some practice starts as well. You see a lot of drivers perhaps also setting up on the grid, going on at 40 mile an hour, and then they can see the braking zone in the first corner, which of course, with the slightly colder brakes and cold tyres, very important to get that right, particularly if you're trying to overtake someone at that first corner. We've also got a lot of drivers complimenting Nilsson's time. That was very, very quick time. I think that's probably the fastest we've seen in practice, and to get that done in such a visually short track in qualifying in 10 minutes is very impressive indeed, even with a draft.
Yeah, that's an important point actually. Just 10 minutes of the qualifying session to set yourself a lap time, and it's a very difficult thing to do, to set a lap time in such a short space of time. I just realised I had the track map on for all that time. Apologies for that. At least I managed to click the right button so that we could actually watch the screen. Sorry for that, leaving the track map up. It didn't really, especially when it was over the overlay. So we've fixed that now. That's my fault. Finger trouble again. As Henderson goes quickest on an 18-16 warm-up. Doesn't really mean anything these times. It just demonstrates how much slower the race pace is in qualifying pace, and it's in the region of half a second, and that's mostly the fuel. And of course the tyres will drop off by the end of the race, and you'll see the time is fairly stable. And Henderson going quicker, and as is Tommy Nilsson through sector 2, but you'd expect that. Tommy Nilsson very quickly in fact quits back to the garage. So we've got 1 and 2 events coming up, and of course the Oran Park round of the V8s is coming up very soon. That is the 18th of August, live on TouringProSeries.com/broadcast. And of course we've got the 3rd round of the World Supertech Series at Velo Park, and that's on the 10th of August. That is just in 7 days' time, and I'll have to remind all of the drivers in the series that it's just in 7 days' time, because undoubtedly some people will forget. And of course that is once again live and at the same time as we are now. So join me, Liam, and probably Ben if we decide that his performance has been good enough for that round. So we'll head back to the live action now. Just a minute left of warm-up, Liam.
Absolutely then, time ticking down, final bit of nerves setting in, maybe drivers just do their pre-race rituals, if they exist for that matter, but it's just, as Ben said, it's just a time for drivers to test race fuel. These times aren't really too significant about race pace, but definitely a chance to learn lines. For instance, Nilsson will want to watch what Tolberg does and how he approaches corners, so maybe just trying to get close to him, or watch his times on board and stuff, and just see how he approaches corners in attacks or defensive manoeuvres. So it's definitely a good chance for drivers to wind down after a heated qualifying session, but all that heat surely about to rise and be tripled as they go into a 30-minute race.
Absolutely, it's going to be incredible to watch the closing stages if it's anything like the last race, even just half of the action. And I have to say, all of the races that I've watched so far, unfortunately of course we lost the broadcast of the first round, but all of the races that we've watched so far, they've been exciting, they've been full of action, and I hope that continues into race 2 as the warm-up session's over. Nilsson goes bouncing over the anti-cuts, and we wait for the signal, which signals the start of the rolling formation lap. They do 1 lap once again, then are told by race control to slow down at a specific point prior to the final corner to 65 kilometers an hour or 40 miles an hour, and that will be given by a chat signal, and they will follow that instruction, hopefully, line up in 2x2 formation, and then continue travelling at that speed until they hear, or see rather, the green signal given by race control, which signals the start of the race, and then they can overtake. They don't have to wait until the start-finish line, and we are green, and hopefully we won't get any starline incidents.
Hopefully not. We saw one last round, we saw one a couple of moments ago, right in the background there you can see where it all took place. I think it's just literally because of this start formation, drivers get so, not excited, but just want to push on so hard, so early, to gain as big an advantage as they can into turn 1. Then they just mistime it, or go too early, or the car brakes in front due to a checkup, and that just lines the whole field up, as it looks like Tommy Nilsson are going to lead the field around for what we can see. I think that may have been Sene. That was Nashimoto has not left his grid spot.
He hasn't. I'm not sure why that is. Let's see if we can find Nashimoto.
He's down in 11th apparently. Not too sure if he's actually got it going, but definitely a troubled start for the THR driver.
I've completely lost him actually. There he is. So I'm not sure what happened there at all. There must have been a bit of lag, but he is running fine. So at the front of the field, it's a different look, isn't it, with without the GT Amiga cars running to it. Oh, and there's contact in the back of Chris Butcher, and I'm not sure what Tommy Nilsson was doing. Going very slowly indeed. Butcher, that's not the first time he's had contact with another driver, and I think he's got some damage. He's lost. Oh no, he hasn't got any damage. He's okay. He's okay, but I wonder if Nilsson's got some damage on that rear right. The flick ups actually they do more than you think, and the pack needs to be a little bit more careful than that on the formation lap, the warm-up lap. Don't combine the two words, Toby, and be fine. And,
I think there was a little bit of contact as well, a bit further about that. It may have been Dino Paolini, I think. Got a bit sideways, but it's not, well, warm-up lap, you said this starting procedure gets a bit exciting, but definitely living up to the name. Hopefully there's no start line incidents.
No, it looks like the field has been slowed down a lot earlier than before, which is sensible, considering the back of the field were obviously delayed somehow. I think people at the back must have been going very slowly indeed. And we're waiting for the green flag signal. I think it'll be given as soon as all of the cars are on the start-finish straight, but it can be given at any point on the start-finish straight, so it doesn't have to be before the line. Look, there's more parts going off. I think people are just eager to get on with it and get by the drivers in front of them. and as a result, just driving into the back of people. I'm not quite sure why. And but anyway, we're rounding the final corner for the start of race 4, or sorry, race 2 of round 2, which is the 4th race of the World Supertech Series Season 2, and we're waiting for the green flag signal. All the drivers are coming onto the pit straight now. You can see them coming through in the background. We'll wait for them all to be on the pit straight, and away we go! Look at this! All of the field fans out immediately. Everyone going side by side. It looks like it's a clean start for everyone. No one seems to be spinning, and there's a sea of cars as we head into turn 1. Henderson on the inside of Talborg, and here comes Butcher. Wants to get a great start for Butcher. Up the inside. Oh, look at that! Calamise! Calamise, he was involved, but who else was that? Visa Muller was that round?
No, Visa Miller's out. I think it was, I think Butcher's off as well. Yeah, Visa Miller, Butcher was off. I think Ryan Callan may have been, no,
oh, look at that! Beto Rodriguez in the background. Callan up to second. How did he do that? And Butcher was definitely involved, because he's dropped down hugely through the field. I have no idea where Butcher's ended up. Senni down to 30th as well. Nascimento down to 32nd. Disaster for the THR team. And look at that, Ray Lilly is Ojala straight in the box. He must have jumped the start. And JJ Wang all the way down the field. I bet you he was involved, because he has a history of doing that. And that means that Nilsson's just running away with this one. No, Nascimento's back up to 6th, so obviously a bit of lag involved for Nascimento. I wonder if that would cause the incident. Crazy opening corner, Liam.
Absolutely. I mean, definitely the first thing I saw was Butcher go spearing off, and then there's the sea of cars. I mean, you know, with no start line incident, it was looking so promising. It hit turn 1, and they were 4 wide going into the opening corner. I'm sure Ben at some point will try and shed some light on what exactly happened and who was involved, but it's not looking good right now. As now you can see Ivar Kalami's trying to have a look up the inside of James Johnson, who's had a fantastic start, it's got to be said.
Yeah, I think he was one of those that really benefited from the start, and a little bit out of position as a result, and he's going to drop back probably behind Calamich for good now. McNaughton in the pits as well. God knows who was involved in that start line incident. Here comes, oh look at this, Calamich straight away on the back of Jesper Talbot. This is more interesting. And he's not going to go around the outside, surely. He is! How did he do that? He must have used push to pass. But that's a crazy place to use push to pass. If he's done that, then it's another way of using it. But Talbot will have it on the main straight, and he just has to be within a reasonable... Oh, and Ivo Simons has left the game. So, I wonder whether
and
that
on the
was
inside
damage.
there's contact there, I think. A little bit of a cheeky push there from Nascimento onto James Johnson, slowly slipping down the field now. Kevin Yerman lingers in the background. Kenneth, I beg your pardon. Now this is going to be interesting. Callan is one man you won't want to try and overtake, but Calamese obviously has some sort of pace. You know, he's trying to climb his way back through the field. Is he going to use that push to pass on the home straight? That remains to be seen as they come onto it now. You can see Tommy Nilsson going to be laughing in the background, but how long will he be if his teammate has anything to say about it like last time? Does he use the push pass? We're not sure yet. He's going to go on the inside now. I don't think he's used it. There's not much between them. Callum's going to have to break later to try and defend it. Oh, he's pushing him almost. So you can see Visa Miller just trying to... Jesper Tolberg, I beg your pardon. Trying to have his nose in it. Calamine has done it around the outside. Simple textbook stuff there from your championship leader.
And that's why he's the championship leader. He's just cruised by all 3 of those cars, you know, and Johnson, Nascimento, and of course Jesper Talbot, and just cruised by them and moved up into second place without even thinking about it. And so he's not just a hot lapper, is he, Calamise? He's obviously, he can race as well. So we've got a very shaken up top 10 as a result of the start line incident. I think Ben can shed more light in the pit lane.
Yeah, it just looked as if they were all trying to head to the first corner apex, and it seemed that no blame can be put into Ryan Callan, but he came across and sort of nudged Henderson. Butcher was trying to come up the inside. Tolberg was also in there, and that pushed Calamise round and onto the curb. He was lucky not to spin the car, but we had Butcher spinning and Henderson spinning. I think also Nascimento was also spinning, but that just caused mayhem behind.
And Nascimento's in the pit lane, and I have no idea why. And I do have an idea why. He was stalled on the grid, wasn't he? I wonder if he jumped the start, slammed on the brakes, then because he realised he jumped the start, dropped the clutch or something. Stalled it, had to get them restarted. But they're all pulling into the pit lane. Nascimento, Lintz, who's that? They're one of the Storm guys.
I think Ferrera's in now.
Oh, and there's contact!
Not planned.
It's not one of the guys. It's Davy van der Ven, and that looks like JJ Wang as well. Oh, disaster for those guys. We're looking at Ferreira, and that's Peterman recovering as well, and Kevin Enderman in the background. We've got Navarro up to 16th. He'll be very pleased with that if he retains that position. one of the guys who does many laps on the server. And Sentel, what we were saying is qualifying would be a little bit disappointing, but he's all the way up to 10th position as Pereira goes on the inside of Kevin Enderman, moves up into 13th position. And further up the field, we've got a battle here. Kenneth Yeoman and James Johnson battling away, and of course Talbot and Ryan Cullen. And you'd have to say Callumese hasn't really gapped Cullen at all. So I wonder if Cullen has a push to pass here saved up. It'll be interesting to see. We'll follow on board with Talbot as we come through the final corner. Nice early apex for Talbot, hugs the curb and sucks him round. And he's right in behind Callan, and it'll be interesting to see who's got a push to pass here. Looks like Callan's got one, because he's engaged his push to pass, and he's disappearing from the Esper Talbot, and it looks like Callamy's had one as well. So Talbot didn't, and Callan looking for a way through, but there's no way through there.
Yeah, and that gap as well between Callamese and Nilsson came down 3/10 last time as Callan goes wide, I beg your pardon, as Talbot goes through. So these three as well, these front four, probably four biggest title contenders now, as Tolberg really has established himself as a title contender today, has to be said. As Tolberg tries to go around the outside, that's a very risky move, he's going to have to hug it, he's really to be hugging them as they go round, and still Callan defends these two, have a very big rivalry across all divisions, but it looks at the moment like Callan's just sealed that at the moment, but I think that it's got to be said, Nilsson has to try and do the race of a lifetime now. He's on lap 6 out of 22. He's got to get to the end without letting his teammate pass him.
That was, of course, Callan getting a much better exit through turn 3, and as a result, he could have a go. Let's have a quick look on board with Callan, and you can see he just had a much better exit out of turn 3. Got a little bit of a run, sent one up the inside of Talbot, and Talbot was sensible enough to give him enough room. Callan really left him no choice, and they squeezed each other through the apex, and Nilsson does what you're saying as and here comes Talbot on the back of Callan though. So Talbot using push to pass well and goes through on the inside of Callan, and of course Callan used his along with Callamese on the lap before, and that's why Callan had a go, isn't it? That's why he wanted to get through past Talbot, because he knew that Talbot would have push to pass the following lap. And Callan's got to run again through the exit of turn 3. Will he be able to, I think Talbot's going to defend this time.
Absolutely, Talbot trying to hug that inside line, Callan forced to the outside. Can he make it stick though? Talbot still hugging that apex, he does that so well. But Callan's almost using a bit of the off track to try and force one through. Talbot having absolutely none of it, as Callan's just trying to force everything out of the book here to push a move on Jesper Talbot, who's gone wide. He may not have to anymore. Callan's going to slip through. No, Jesper holds on. Absolutely incredible stuff here. The two giants of Touring Pro Series doing battle once again. This is what Touring Pro Series is about.
It certainly is, side-by-side action into the almost flat left and right chicane, and Callan looking very racy, and I think he's got a push to pass this time round. It'd be interesting to see if he uses it, and we're just cycling through at the bottom of the screen through the field. Chris Butcher down in 20th position, Nascimento after his pit stop in 23rd, and Nilsson once again fastest lap, and I think he is definitely pushing for a race win. Here comes Callan, he's on the back of Talbot, and it looks like he wants to go through. I don't know whether he's used a push to pass. It doesn't look to me like he's used a push to pass this time round. So both are saving theirs. Callan does go through. He sweeps around the outside, just using the draft. That was enough. And he didn't want to waste a push to pass, so Callan goes through, takes the position away from Talbot. But Talbot looking racy again. He's going to try and go up the inside. These two, that's it, hammer and tong. And I think Talbot will give that one up, and he does so. Callan very early on the brakes, turns it very early as a result, but still retains that position. We're still scrolling through the field. Tamas Fort down to 20th after 15th in qualifying, and Nascimento will say 23rd. And Adrian McNaughton was the front runner in the first two races in round 1, and he's down in 24th, and obviously a bit of trouble today. And Philip Antonio is out along with Abbas, Simons, as we saw. Beto Rodriguez obviously spun at the first corner, and Tommy Ajala. So that's the rundown of the retirees. So Callamese and Nilsson, GT Amiga 1-2 is a little bit less close this time round. Let's see what Nilsson can do as he crosses the line. We'll just follow these just for maybe a couple more laps. 18.4, so a little bit slow this time round. 4.2 was the gap, and it's 4.3 now, so it's not really changing it very much at all. Callan and Talbot in a little bit of a battle here, and Callan has used his push to pass. You can see he's just stretched his lead away from Talbot. Obviously Talbot using his defensive, Callan using his defensively, excuse me, And in the background, we've got side-by-side action with Johnson and Kenneth Yeoman. James Johnson having a great race, isn't he, up in 5th?
Absolutely. You're calling out to opportunities in that THR team. That just really kind of boosted him. That opening instant, you could see, you know, all cars flying off in all directions, and he just seeped through. And it's not like he slipped through the field back to start the 13th place. He's holding up there in the top 5, so that car obviously has some pace at the moment. If he can last that to the end, that would be absolutely exceptional for him.
Certainly will. He's being pressurised though by the German Kenneth Yeoman. It's quite a fun thing to say. And Kenneth in the F1 Classic livery car, right in behind James Johnson, who is of course British. So these two both in the medal table in the Olympics, close on track. Let's see whether Yeoman has a push to pass to use on the main straight. He's right in behind James Johnson as they come towards the final corner. I think Johnson may have used a push to pass on the previous lap. We'll find out in just a moment. It's easy to watch a push to pass in action as they head onto the pit straight, because you can see the gap either opening or closing as rapidly as left the game, or what that is. I'm sure Ben will endeavour to find out and tell us.
Absolutely, as you can see now, still Yeoman not giving up, trying to get on the inside of Johnson, and he's going to be pushed to the wall. Look how close, there's absolutely nothing between them as they go into the opening corners, and look who's just forming in the background now, waiting for a mistake. David Yunt, he's also had a good start.
Certainly is, up to 7th for David Yunt, and he's obviously benefited from that first lap mayhem. Damien Henderson's doing a good job down in 12th to make his way back to the field, as is Robert Wiesemuller, so those two making good progress. Wiesemuller up to 10th. Haven't really been following those, but these two having a ding-dong battle, and here comes Yeoman on the inside through the fast right-hander. No way through there, and he'd be a brave man if he sticks one up the inside into the hairpin, and he thinks better of it. But as you say, Yunt's really closing, isn't he? He's right on the tail of these two. And Telborg has dropped back a little bit from Callan, so Callan showing good pace in 3rd. This will mend his championship hopes. But I have to say, Nielsen and Calamese putting a bigger dent in Callan's hopes for the title. They go past the lapped man, Mike Bell, and come onto the pit straight once again to start lap 11. And further back, let's have a look at Wiesemuller. He's right behind. Right in front of Matt Sentel, so he's just obviously just overtaken him. Chris Shepherd in front of them, the number 30 machine, right behind Dino Paolini, who's doing a good job as well. Those two having a ding-dong battle, it seems. Further back, Damien Henderson, as I was saying, Eric Spite coming onto the pit straight. Ferreira and Enderman, they are relatively close, as you can see in the background just coming through. There is Ferreira, there is Kevin Enderman, there's Alexandre Sene, so he is also making his way through the field. Let's have a quick flick back. Chris Butcher in 18th, so he's making up position as I speak. He's obviously got a bit of an advantage there from Ivan Navarro, who's rated his teammate, so obviously on team speak to those guys. Oh, and Sene's run wide!
Big moment there for Alexandre Sene, just got on the chicane lucky not to spin it. To be honest, there was a big save by him, and you can see in the background there, I think that's Ernie Drasker coming through the field, number 87, this currently P17, and looking behind him, Chris Butcher down in P18. He's looking to the inside though, and can he make it stick? Drasker's going to be forced around the outside. The Lithuanian doing a good job at defending at the moment, but no, Butcher's through, so Chris on a charge. Of course, Red Bull 2012 Gridsters champion, looking to try and make a bit more of himself today. He said he wasn't feeling great, but obviously that opening incident didn't really help matters. He's going to try and push his way through the field though. He's doing a good job at the moment, up to P17 behind Sene.
He certainly is. He's following his THR, one of the THR members through, and it's job to take this one out. I've seen and Tveit has... Oh, look at this for Eric Tveit! What's he done? Huge damage for Tveit, and I want to know why he's got such huge damage. Let's find out now. He's just got a new wheel. His old one... Oh, look at this! Oh, he's locked up, but he's okay. Now there's a bit of lag. It's okay. We're back with him. So he's coming through the fast left-hander. Come on, please show it. Oh, look, looks like he's lost it through there, has he? Yeah, he must have lost it through there. Oh, can't show you it. I'm sorry, the replay's a bit too laggy. So Eric's fight. Oh, and look at that for Johnson Ockerklint. Damage for him. And he's going to be out of the race, surely. It looks like he's parking it as well. So those two both out of the race. Huge damage for Tveit. I don't know what he's doing half the time, quite frankly. He does seem to be a bit of a loose cannon. And look at this, Callan and Talborg right on the back of each other. So Tveit's out, so that's promoting quite a few people up the field. Butcher's now in the top 16. Sene in 15th. and Henson moves up to 11th. So those are starting to look like reasonable results as Talbot runs a little bit wide.
Yeah, obviously, I mean, Callan obviously trying to recuperate after, you know, quite a forgettable first race, let's say. I'm sure want to put that in his forgettable books, but you can see now Yerman once again trying at the inside of Johnson. Johnson has to be said, we said before, he's not falling away through the field, he's holding his ground here. And Yerman, who looks a bit fast, is having trouble as he goes wide there. I may have to cast that one, because Johnson goes wide, Yerman's trying to find everything through a bit of a wiggle there though. And you can see Tolberg and Callan dueling away in the distance. But now Shawley's got to run, he's taking a ride on board with David Yunt. As you can see now, to move into the outside is Kenneth Yerman. Is Yunt going to sneak well upfield? Look how close he's got.
He's got right onto the back of these two, and whilst those three are battling away, Ben's got news on Ray Lilly.
Yeah, I just spoke to Ray Lilly, and unfortunately he didn't quite join the grid in time at the start of before the start of the formation lap, so unfortunately he was registered as a lap down, kept getting shown blue flagged, and he'd had enough and rage quitted, as it's known by Chris Butcher. But I'd also like to just say there's a big battle going on for 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th.
Indeed there is, headed by Wiesenmuller, Dina Paolini, Chris Shepherd, Damien Henderson and Matt Sentel. So these lot have obviously been closing up over the last few laps, so there was a bigger gap between Chris Shepherd and Damien Henderson. Obviously Henderson showing stronger pace throughout this race weekend, as we would expect him now to want to make a move up the inside of Chris Shepherd, who did show quite well in the first round at Jaguar, but not quite so good here at Curitiba. And here comes Henderson. I wonder if he's on push to pass. He didn't know he pulled miles out of the slipstream, so probably is. Usually means that they want to make a... Oh, no, he's pulled back in, so maybe Chris Shepherd used... Yeah, Chris Shepherd used his push to pass. Look at that! Shepherd running deep, and Henderson has to take it through. So got another move to make. Unfortunately, moves up into 15th place, and they've suddenly had to move past Kevin Enderman, and they are now in the top 15. So, as I say, becoming a better result. Here comes Henderson on the inside of Shepherd, thinking about it, isn't he? And the number 91 machine of Damien Henderson moves up ahead of Chris Shepherd, and he takes 10th position.
Absolutely, so a very, once again, shaken up field. We saw this kind of group battling format earlier on. David Yunt growing a testament to that as he joins this battle, which has been raced long. It seems like Yerman's got past Johnson at the moment. Johnson's still, though, not giving up. Like he said, you know, we thought maybe once Yerman got past, he may start to slip away, but that's definitely not the case, because Yerman's rearview mirror is full of James Johnson's car right now.
Indeed it is. Johnson looking for a way through, and he is maybe using push to pass. It's very difficult to tell. Yeoman's going defensive though, and he's going down the inside of the track and trying to cover the position. He in fact has used the defensive push to pass, so looks like that's going to be status quo just for the time being. And look at this, Callan has been jumped by Jesper Talborg, and Talborg has used his tyre wear to his advantage, cruised up to the back of Ryan Callan and has taken that position away. Callan will not be happy with that, or will be wanting to take that back as soon as possible, and he's right in behind the Dane.
Absolutely, let's see what happens then. And right now though, as we said, no, this is probably one of the biggest rivalries, you know, that you can see in the two giants. Talbot goes wide as he spun it, because he looked like he went very sideways indeed. No, he hasn't, thank God. I thought that could have been the end of a very promising run by Jesper. But let's see if he can re-catch Callan. There needs to, you know, Callan needs a good strong race.
Sorry, Chris Shepherd has had an unfall, which is German for accident, and I know that one. And I wonder what happened to Chris Shepherd. Let's find out. Let's try and find out. Undoubtedly, the replay will be laggy. And ooh, have we got some of it there? No. Fast forward a little bit more. Nope. No replay, I'm afraid.
Yet, as Paris would say.
Yeah. Can you see what it is yet? Nope. Nothing there for you to for me to show you. Sorry, guys. Occasionally we get it. Occasionally we don't. Here's Yunt and Johnson once again. And Yunt actually looks the stronger of these two at this time in the race, and he's gone through past Johnson. Here's Johnson's car on the inside of us. Contact!
Contact!
Contact! Oh, Yunt's round! Yunt's round! Look at that in the gravel! And he's going to have to recover from there. And he's just about kept it out of the gravel and just about got it going again, but he's going to be miles behind James Johnson and Robert Wiesman. Look at he's not even on the track in front of us. And Wiesman.
Oh, look where he's fed out. He's going to hate that view. Look at the cavalry now all forming behind. You've got the battle. Of course, behind Wiesenmuller, of Paolini and Henderson still raging on. This is the P9 and 10. All this going on still, as I think we're seeing a replay here on board from Jim's point of view.
just wanted to see from outside. Let's see whether there was significant contact between these two. Oh, look at that from Johnson. Let's have a quick slow motion action replay of this. Johnson got very sideways. Look at that, overcorrected. That's why. That's no real fault of Johnson's. Oh, he couldn't avoid Yunt. Contact between the two, and Yunt was round. So Yunt drops back, and Johnson and Yunt's battle is over. The battle of the J's, and Kenneth Newman, another J, actually right in front of James Johnson, JJ. And there's a wheel loose. A wheel loose on the start-finish line. Why is there a wheel loose?
Not too sure. It was maybe Ben could fill us in if he's seen anything, but...
Yep, Ben, find out. So, I have no idea why. It's just loose there, isn't it?
Yeah, it could be, you know, a glitch or something, but one thing that isn't a glitch right now, though, is actually, surprisingly, Tommy Nelson's... Oh my god, look at this! This is still... Henson is actually past Paolini now. So he's up into P9 provisionally, but again, this battle has been raging on for ages. You can see Matt Sento lingering in the background, just a matter of seconds away. One thing, as you said, you know, that's been quite surprising. Tommy Nilsson, we expected Calamies to be right up there with his teammate, giving him, you know, one of the closest races up front we've seen, but instead he's 4.8 seconds away.
Indeed he is. Look at this, Cullen is in third position ahead of Talborg. So those two have been, I think they've been swapping positions actually for a couple of laps now, and we've just been following different battles. And looks like Talborg perhaps doesn't quite have the pace of Cullen, but perhaps he has the tyre wear. Do you think that's a fair assumption to make, Liam?
It definitely could be. I mean, I think these two, you know, literally, it's like top trumps. You know, some will be better another row, some will not. But right now, Talbot definitely trying to get the better of the straight. And let's see this top trump payoff then into turn one, and it looking like that was a push to pass, perhaps.
Yeah, definitely a push to pass overtake. Oh, Cullen! Oh, I thought he was going to make a dive, and that was definitely going to be instant death. But one of them, if he made a dive that late, because Talborg has already committed to the apex of the corner. Oh, look at this, Cullen once again. He's got a very good run off the previous corner. He likes using this technique, doesn't he? And Talborg has to go defensive. Obviously, Cullen has used that as an option before, and it'd be interesting to know how many overtaking push to passes they've got left. Because we're on lap to 18 of 22. Runde 18 von 22 is probably how you say it in German. Someone will correct me, I'm sure. Oh, Talborg wide! Cullen coming through. And not quite making the overlap, I don't think. He'll slot in behind Jesper Talborg. And looks like the lap times actually have dropped off significantly now. Nielsen just done a 19.3. Cullen, what are you doing over there? Right over the grass. And you better not have done that too many times.
Well, let's hope not, because he's right now looking to be got a little bit of an advantage there, but Talborg has pulled out a bit of a gap. That gap is coming down at the front, however. I think there was about 2 tenths gone there between Calamies and Nilsson. And now this is the gap we all want to see, though. Callan moves to the outside, Talborg holds that inside line. Callan, can he get this done this time? He's going to need to try and get it. He's done it. It looks providing us an outbreak to himself. We've seen this before, but no, he holds on greatly there, and now Talborg is going to be the man on the attack.
He is. He's right in behind Ryan. I wonder if Ryan is able to do anything about retaining that position for the remainder of this race. There's not many laps to go, of course. We head to looking back from Callan's car, the TPS racing machine ahead of the THR Green machine, and it looks like Talborg is still right in behind Callan. It's just 3 tenths of a second, as you can see in the timing, and Calamese a good 5 seconds down the road. So as they come up to the lap, Nick Newcomb, it looks like to me, is he going to get in the way? Callan a little bit squeezed there, and Newcomb puts his brakes on, and Talborg doesn't quite get as held up as much as Callan. So that could benefit the Dane, and he's right in behind Callan. I wonder how many push to passes he's got. If he's got any sense, he'd save it until... Oh, Talborg wide! Oh, just keeps it on the track. And Callan, in that Jack Villeneuve sort of influenced helmet design, it's actually a direct copy, but he'll tell you it's just influence, is still retaining that position from Talborg. Talborg looks like he's going to use that push to pass, I'm afraid, and take the position away from Callan. Oh, it's side by side. Actually, I don't think he has used it. He's just using the draft, and he's going round the outside. This is never going to work.
Have to try and get the cut back if Callan goes deep, which he hasn't. I mean, that opening complex really is, you know, it's so hard. There's so many different ways to approach it as well, and you can never anticipate if the driver's going to change lines or no.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, it's just it is one of those corners where 3 or 4 different lines can be just as quick as the as any other sort of traditional line, and Talborg still right in behind Callan. We'll just cut away. Kenneth Yeoman down in 5th position now. Nielsen obviously leads from Calamies, with Callan in 3rd, Talborg in 4th, Yeoman in 5th, James Johnson behind Yeoman in 6th position, with Junt and Wiesemuller a fair distance apart as well. But Wiesemuller has got Damien Henderson all over him, and Henderson is looking for a way through into 8th position. Wiesemuller shoving him out on the dirt as much as he dare. Henderson trying to wing it round the outside. Oh, look how sideways Wiesemuller was. Nearly lost control, nearly slid into Henderson. Henderson trying to go around the outside, and Paolini's not that far behind at all. And he'll be looking up to pick up any scraps that Henderson and Wiesemuller leave on the table. And it looks like Wiesemuller has retained that position for now, but there's not many laps left in this race, if I can get my words out straight. And Paolini in behind Henderson, still defending from Sentel, and Sene and Butcher are a fair distance behind them, and in fact I think Sene and Butcher are less than a couple of seconds apart, so we might see a battle between those. Callan's still in 3rd. Oh, he's going to hit that wheel! Oh, it looks like it's been there for a while. Oh, I thought that was going to still be there, and it looks like it just did a graphical glitch maybe, and I thought they were going to hit that wheel, and that does cause damage to you as Henderson's on the outside and doesn't make contact, and Wiesemuller retains that position.
At Sentel, all over the back of Paolini, we saw that in the background. 2 epic battles going on. In the closing stages of this race, Paolini definitely coming under pressure from Matt Sentel. He wants the top 10, and how much of a confidence boost would that be for him?
A huge confidence boost, you'd have to say. We're going to jump forwards, because Wiesemuller has been overtaken by Henderson, and I wonder if he'll be able to take that back before the end of the race. There's not much longer left at all, and here's the Talborg and Callan battle, as Calamies and Nielsen come through to complete lap 21 and 22. This is the final lap, and Nielsen looks like he's going to take his maiden win in the WSS, and the first new winner since Calamies in the season. Calamies has had 3 wins and will be a second, so it'll be very tough to beat him later on in the season. Here's Callan, and here comes Talborg, and Talborg on the outside. Will he be able to overtake? I'm not sure he will through the outside of that corner. No, he's not able to, so Talborg has 1 lap left to take that 3rd position. And indeed, hardly any time at all, and we've lost Liam Jenkins, unfortunately, which is such a shame. Hopefully he'll be able to rejoin us as soon as he can. Here he is. Okay, good. As we watch Callan and Talborg still in their huge battle. Yeoman down in 5th, with Johnson not that far behind, and Wiesemuller and Henderson. Wiesemuller's got back by Henderson. Not much longer in their race either, and here comes Henderson. He's on the outside. Wiesemuller goes very defensive indeed, and Henderson trying to go around the outside. It's going to be side by side through the right-hander. Wiesemuller got the inside, Henderson got the outside, and Wiesemuller sweeps in front of Henderson, retains that position. Here comes Talborg on Ryan Callan. We'll just follow Nielsen as he comes towards the start-finish line to complete the race and win race 2 and round 2 of the World Supertech Series. He is victorious for GT Amiga. His teammate Ivar Calamies comes through in 2nd position, but who's going to be 3rd? Here comes Talborg! Here comes Talborg! He's going to take 3rd! He does!
Oh, he does!
Takes 3rd from Ryan Callan. Used his push to pass well. He had 1 saved. In 5th position is going to be Kenneth Yeoman, and he takes 5th from James Johnson. David Yunt's going to be a lonely 7th. Here's Wiesemuller and Henderson. Henderson's going to go wide. Is Paolini going to take the position from it? It looks like he's going to. Here comes Paolini! Is it going to be Paolini? Yes, it is! Takes 9th position from Henderson. Look at that, so tight. Sentel in 11th. Oh, Nascimento's teammate Sene is going to be 12th. In fact, he lets through. Is he letting through Butcher? Or are they just doing a side-by-side action across the line? It looks like it to me. Butcher crosses the line in 13th. Nascimento crosses 14th. Pereira is going to come through in 15th position. In 16th, we have McNaughton with Kabis in 17th. In 18th position is going to be Kevin Enderman. In 19th, Ernie Draska. And in 20th position is Marlon Lintz. Unbelievable stuff again, Liam.
Absolutely. You know, this ends to both rounds have been absolutely insane, but Tommy Nielsen, I think that could have been a bit of karma there because he deserved a victory, and he finally got one in race 2, but he's the first man then to break Ivar Calamy's win streak. Callan came 4th place from Jesper Thorberg. That was absolutely incredible between Callan and Thorberg, and I'm sure, you know, that that was the only suitable way for it to end. Those two, you know, as you said, two of the giants here in TPS. So for those two to go neck and neck right till the very end was the only foreseeable way that was going to end. But nonetheless, an absolutely astounding round to the World Supertech Series.
Incredible. Round out the field for you. David van der Ven finished in 21st. JJ Wang in 22nd. I won't try and say his first name because last time I messed it up. Ivan Navarro in 23rd. Luke McVicker in 24th. I've lost my voice a bit. I think Ben will have to do the interviews. 25th, Nick Newcomb. 26th goes to Mike Bell, and that is the final finisher in the race. Unbelievable stuff out there today. We had plenty of DNFs, and we have plenty of people who were perhaps a little bit disappointed with their final result, but the winner of race 2 here in round 2 of the World Supertech Series goes to Tommy Nilsson. He is victorious from Eva Academies. That's the main story of the day. Unbelievable scenes, and we'll be right back with the interviews, and hopefully Ben has rounded up a few people. Actually, I'm hoping he's managed to get people. We do need to talk to a few people for the interviews. Sum that up for us, Liam.
Oh, in 3 words, well, 2 words actually, absolutely incredible. That entire broadcast was just phenomenal. Everything that, you know, resembles a good sim race in terms of spectating. You know, it had dramatic overtakes, probably some of the best starts in history, awesome qualifying results, and just some of the best race-long battles I've seen in a long, long time.
It was absolutely amazing. I've never quite seen so many incidents, so much action going on all at once. Just incredible. And we'll wait for the people to join the interviews. Let's see if Ben Davis is with us, and maybe he can just give him his perspective from further back.
Yeah, it was 2 very enjoyable races. Certainly the push to pass is playing real tactics, particularly over the line. People are saving them till the very last corner to get a drive out that last corner, and Jesper Torberg used it well. Calamies, of course. But yeah, that seems to be like really important to save those push to passes if you can until the very last second to outwit your opponent into that last corner. But yeah, certainly, hopefully, a few drivers in the interview can shed some light on what happened, really, particularly in that turn 1 of race 2.
See if you can round up a few people for us, Ben. Of course, we want to talk to Jesper Alexander Sene down in the THR channel, so if you can head down there. David Yunt's been nice to talk to him as well. He had a good race. But first into the commentary box was Robert Wiesenmuller, and well, it was an interesting couple of races for you. It was a very close battle with Paolini and Henderson in race 2. Sum that one up for us, Robert.
Yeah, unfortunately at the start of the second race I was turned around in the first corner. Tried to go on the inside to avoid it, but I got a hit from behind, so I was down in 28th or so. And from then on I was just cruising through the field, passing lots of cars, which is quite easy with the push to pass on this track. And Henderson, he was also involved in the first corner incident. He closed up on me, was a little bit faster, and then I was just defending really hard the last 6 laps, and it just worked out.
Yeah, it did. I mean, that start of race 2, yeah, obviously you were turned around. Do you think that was just too many cars into one place, or do you think there was anyone particularly at fault?
I think it was just too crowded on the track. I didn't really see the incident because, well, I got pushed from behind, but there was also cars being run in front of me. It was really tight at the start, so maybe we can look it up on the replay later, but I think it was just too crowded.
Yeah, it looked very tight. There was 4 wide into turn 1 at one point, so thank you, Robert. I think we should go to Chris Butcher. I think he was in pretty much next. So, Chris, you're feeling under the weather. Do you think your race 1 result was particularly under the weather?
I don't really know what to make of it. I've not been on the pace here, but I was surprised with how high I managed to qualify, and I think I got to 5th or 6th at one point. And unfortunately, the blight of the pedals, plight or whatever the word is, I can't remember. I can't think straight. Yeah, I got done in by my pedals basically, and down the straight I lost a couple of positions, and then later in the lap, I think it was NATO, got a bit sideways. I had nowhere to go. I went into the back of him, and then Evo collected me as well, so that was a bit disappointing.
Yeah, we saw Beto Rodriguez spinning around as well, and of course you dropped right down the field, all the way to about 25th position-ish or something like that. So you made it up to the where did you finish? 12th or something? I've completely forgotten where everyone finished.
I don't think I dropped that far back in race 1. It was race 2 that I really dropped back after the first corner pile up. Which I don't really know what happened. All I know is I was on the inside. I'd got a really good start, and somebody just whacked into the left side of my car, and that was it. I was going round.
Yeah, not what you want. So thank you for talking to us, Chris. Go and get some rest.
Yeah, I think I need some sleep now.
Yeah, you sound pretty rough. So Chris Butcher from THR Red. Ryan Cullen from TPS Racing has joined us. And it was a mixed bag today, Ryan. Race 1, of course, we saw. I think that was a spin. From what we saw, it was of your own accord that caused you to cut the track. Is that how you saw it, or is that what happened?
Yeah, I mean, race 1, I got a great start down the outside. I actually didn't want to be on the outside at the start, but it seemed to work for me. 6th to 3rd, and I was just battling along and fighting with Yerman. And it's good battle with him, and then going into the hairpin, it was lap 7 or something like that. I got turned around by Jesper, unfortunately, just a small hit, but it was enough to spear me around, got me back in the battle, and it got me a little bit heated, and just lost a bit of concentration. The tyres heated up as well because trying to correct the slide, of course, and then coming into the corner a bit too hot, but back end came out, and I just went across the track just nice and slowly because I knew that it was a risk of getting a stop-go penalty, and I thought this is slow enough. This is not slow enough. And yeah, from there on it was just a case of making the best of it as I could.
And of course you had an excellent battle in race 2 with Jesper Talborg, and Jesper got you on the line with maybe a saved push to pass. He saved it up for the final lap, and perhaps you didn't. I guess you didn't have a push to pass left.
Well, from the way I was figuring it out, I thought that he was one push to pass behind me. And so I used my push to pass on the back straight, I suppose you could call it, after turn 1 on the final lap, thinking that would be enough. I needed to find a corner. I just took it nice and safe because I thought he hasn't got a push to pass left, and I just sloped the corner. He can't get the exit, and he's not going to get a car length on me on exit with acceleration. And lo and behold, he had one left. So, but it was a fantastic battle with Jesper. I really enjoyed that, and really pleased myself as well because I've very little experience in real drive up for the past 2 years. So to be battling with Jesper on track that close, it was very pleasing for me, and a great fun, of course, as well.
Yeah, it was certainly entertaining to watch you two.
I never fail to entertain. You know that.
Well,
you caused a massive pile-up at turn 1, so.
Well, how did I cause it? I was on the outside.
No, I'm not saying you caused it at all, but 4 of you are trying to go into the apex of turn 1.
Oh, I see. I was just sticking on the outside. Oh, that's another in race 2 again. I just stuck on the outside and hope for the best, and it all seemed to work out well. I didn't want to be on the outside, so yeah, that's twice in a row I was on the outside where I didn't want to be, and twice in a row it worked. So
I think Ben will have to read his words actually. Earlier on, he was saying that Ryan Cullen was basically a tyre abuser and would pull back from Jesper, but it turned out that it was very close right to the end. So well done, Ryan. It was a good result today. And it keeps you roughly in contact with the leaders in the championship. Certainly
very roughly. To that 16th.
Well, yeah, but it leaves you with I think it probably leaves you with 3rd or 4th in the championship, perhaps 5th. So it's still close enough. Anyway, well, thank you, Brian. We'll move on to David Yunt, and we'll have a brief word with James Johnson and Jonathan Ockerclinth afterwards. So, David, somewhat quickly, I mean, obviously you had a good battle in race 2, I believe it was, with 1 or 2 others. I think it was Wiesenmuller was involved, and 1 or 2 others, Sene maybe. So it was a good showing from you, and I suppose you'd be pleased with a couple of top 10s?
Yeah, indeed I am. I mean, after just look at my qualifying, I'm just not good at doing such hot laps, so I'm always focusing on races, and you just seen in race 2, I've had visible cars set to 20-something, went to the first turn, and cars kept disappearing in front of me, so I'm just driving in the open space, and when I came out, there was something like 10th position, so I went 9 positions up, and was like 8 after 2 laps. But after that, well, I was just trying to follow Muirman and JJ again. But when I pushed to pass JJ and tried to pass JJ into the first corner, he just came back with late braking. I went over the curbs. He touched. It made me spin, and I lost 6 seconds. So battle was quite over, and after that it felt like my front right had some damage, so I just took it easy and tried not to let Robert and the rest of the guys behind me let me catch. And with the 7th and 8th place, I can't really be disappointed, and I'm really happy. It's this track, I like it much more, and this is just the way I didn't expect it, but I'm just very happy.
Yeah, you had a couple of good results. 7th and 8th, as you say, is very good indeed. And if you can sort the qualifying out, well, in fact, maybe you don't need to sort the qualifying out. You sort of avoided the incident and therefore profited from it. So well done, David. And we'll just have a quick word with James Johnson, JJ as I know him affectionately. And yeah, you were another one that benefited from the race 2 pilot, weren't you?
I don't know how I got through it. I just rode my luck and somehow I came out the other end in 4th. Don't know how I did it.
Yeah, well, you certainly made good progress and had a great little battle, as David was saying, with him and Kenneth Yeoman, and it was an interesting one. It was nip and tuck, bit of contact, but mostly clean.
Mostly clean, but I had to say sorry to David because I did brake a bit late. But I was waiting for my push to pass. It was like I was just waiting because it was 6 seconds to go on the exit on the last turn, and then I just got it, and then all of a sudden I just went and I was chasing him down, and then I braked a bit later, and then I just managed to sneak my nose down the inside, and I must have hit him on the curb when I went over the curb on the inside.
Yeah. Well,
And then
I have to say, it looked like you sort of lost the back end and perhaps slightly overcorrected and turned into him. Obviously, we'll have to have another look after the event, but we'll see. But certainly,
I
a good
don't
result
know
in
off
the
the top of my head, but yeah, it was a long race.
Yeah, it's certainly 2 long races. It feels like very long races. Thank you, JJ. We'll just quickly go to Jonathan Okuklin, and then we'll have a quick word from Ben and Liam. So, Jonathan, we saw you retiring from race 2. Obviously, smashed up your car a little bit. Tell us what happened.
Had a driver behind me tried to go quicker than the setup and myself was able to do, and I lost the car and tried to correct and overcorrected. It went into the inside barrier. Simply put.
It looked like a lot of damage. So, better luck next time. You had 2 DNFs, I believe. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Hiccup on the start of race 1, and then I missed the push to pass and pushed the neutral button instead. Went first, and the engine blew.
Oh wow, that's tough.
It's usually your trick, Toby.
Yeah, I've done that before. So unlucky, Jonathan. But
yeah.
Thank you guys for talking to us. So Ben, you seem to have plenty to say. Let's hear what you have to say about those 2 races. First time in the commentary booth as well. So how do you think it's gone today?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. The track certainly lent itself to some interesting qualifying sessions to begin with. Then the races, turn 1, 2 and 3, that's a chicane. Sorry, a bit of an echoing going in. But yeah, that was really enjoyable. Led to really good racing. Some little pile-ups for sure, but you're bound to get that with sim racing. The use of push to pass was really intriguing, particularly at the end with Jesper Tulberg and Callum also. But yeah, commiserations to the guys who didn't finish. Hopefully you'll have some more people finishing at the next round. Just looking through the chat, there seems to be lots of people enjoying the broadcast with the exciting racing happening. Eric DeVite Spin also got some excellent comments. So yeah, no, I really enjoyed myself. Great racing.
Pleased to hear it. And we also had Liam with us today, and for the second time. Really, for the first time that you guys really would have been able to say it, but for the second time we commentated together. It's such a shame that the broadcast didn't work from the first round, but the racing was just as good here, wasn't it? Liam. I think he may well have disconnected again, but it was, just take my word for it, it certainly was as good as the first round. And of course the highlight videos are on TouringProSeries.com or our forums on InsideSimRacing.tv/forum, and you can catch all of the future TPS action right on our website, TouringProSeries.com/broadcast. And of course, in a couple of weeks' time, we have Oran Park for the V8 round. That's the 18th of August, and that is live at 6:45 GMT, which will be 8:45 UK time. That's the 18th of August. That will be a Saturday.
Oh, there we go.
And of course, hello, welcome back. And of course we have the next round of the World Supertech Series from Velo Park in Brazil, and that's on the 10th of August, which is just, well, it's now 6 days' time, because technically, well, certainly in the UK we are at 12:30, so it's just started a new day. God, it's late. And of course the 10th of August at our usual time of 9 GMT, or 10 UK, 11 CET. So interesting couple of events coming up, and of course the Cleos will be starting soon. Danny Asbury is currently, you can see him currently in TeamSpeak recording an interview with Mike Bell for the Cleos, and we'll be looking forward to the Cleos, won't we, Liam? Both myself and you will be racing.
I think you say racing. You'll be racing. I'll be just trying to avoid taking anyone out. I think, not just before.
Yeah, well, I suppose we've had some good racing today. I was just saying, it's a shame that the broadcast didn't work from round one, but it's been just as good today.
Absolutely. I think, all the problems of round one really, sort of left a lot of fans kind of upset about it. But I think this definitely made up for it. Probably a bit more as well, because this, as I said, just as my mic cut off, this is probably one of the best broadcasts in terms of what you want from a race. It had everything a spectator wants, and just to see some of the biggest names in sim racing duel away until the literal dying seconds of the race. We had side-by-side finishing throughout the field. Really was just incredible, and it just leaves such a good impression on the sim racing community, and I just can't wait for the next round.
Which is, of course, in 7 days' time, so join us then. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll just leave you with the trailer. Until Velo Park, until then, thanks for watching.